Yo, what's up, my gamers in Christ? How are we doing today? Hopefully well. Today is the date. One moment. Of Monday, January 3rd, right? It's the 3rd, I'm pretty sure. January 5th. I lied to you guys. It's actually January 5th of 2026. And I've got something to show you, ladies and gentlemen. Voila! That's right. That is me. That's my face. You can see me right now. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I was able to set up a little system with my phone, so my computer is able to use the hardware in it, and look at that. I got it all set up and ready to go. Howdy, Bill. How are we doing? Hopefully we're doing well. Does the stream look okay, by the way? Is everything... I had to update OBS, and it reset my output borders. So now I have to kind of guess around with them for a moment until I can fix my OBS. Kind of frustrating, but it's alright. It is A-okay. Well, I'm just going to get my link here real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will get started. Let me bring up my chat in OBS real quick. I noticed OBS now also has a live interaction feature to interface with my stream. It's very strange, but oh well. The card of the day is Red Eyes Black Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. We all know about Red Eyes Black Dragon. That's Joey's favorite card! Here, Yugi! You're gonna need my card for the future, man! No! That red-eyed black dragon... No, Yugi! No, Joey! I couldn't possibly take your red-eyes black dragon. You keep it, Yugs. 2 megabytes per second, but I can't watch it higher than 230p. Let me... See, that might be one of the issues. Let me go to my settings. I mean, it says my aspect and my resolution is fine. But if it's only... Here, let me... Oh my god. Why is Sirius XM calling me? Definitely on my end? Okay, bet. Why was Sirius XM calling me? What was the purpose of that? I don't know. Anyways. Get off of my screen, Samsung. I don't want you. Anyways, let me bring it back here a little bit. The speed test is lying to you. Yeah, you gotta be careful about that. They're a bunch of liars. Sometimes, those speed tests. Well, sorry, I never have my face on usually, so it's a little weird to get used to that people can see me, but we'll manage through. We're hoping to have an extra long episode today, so got a stream announcement here. What should I do? The finally coming clean. We're gonna name it something like that. My appearance. Yeah, I think that one's good. Finally coming clean about my appearance. That's a nice little clickbait right there, I'd say. We engage in clickbaiting on occasion. I call it tactical. Memeing. I miss when you would answer spam calls. Oh, we can still do that, maybe. We can do that. My only issue is my phone is my camera right now. Red hat MAGA. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm MAGA'd up out here, guys. It does suck that they decided to take red as their color, because that's like one of the only colors that I like to wear. Red and black. You guys are gonna find out my wardrobe is not very expansive. DB, go to Dylan Burns real quick. We love Dylan Burns. He's a chad. Who else do we love? I don't know if the politics Discord has a self-promo area. I don't think they do. Which is like, what are you doing there? The Ice Beans John F. Kennedy Memorial. That's what Ice Beans' server name is. That's a good meme. That's a good meme. Well, let's take a look at what news we got today. We've got quite a bit of news. First, we're gonna get into our PBS News Hour. Of course, gotta give a shout out to the public broadcasting. And then President Trump had a gaggle with the press on Air Force One, so we're gonna take a look at that. After that, we've got a piece by MS Now, Little Morning Joe. I don't know how long we'll stick with that, but we'll see. And then we'll finally finish up the conduit video. We only have a little chunk left on that. After that, I got a piece by Times Radio here. Trump forcing U.S. oil companies into Venezuela is their idea of a gringo imperialist nightmare. And then finally, our scumbag of the day is Benny Johnson. And we're gonna really dive into Benny's psyche, so get excited, okay? Yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you right now. You blinked first. That's all I'm gonna say. You blinked first. Alright. Well, we're gonna let people file in here real quick. It's only been about 8 minutes since we've been live. I don't know if I like this new layout of the OBS. They kind of made it look like... I don't know, I guess it's more clean technically, but I like something that's a little more technical looking, personally. But it can always change. Hey Bill, you want to help me change, pick a color? So we've got this. We have this. I don't like this. This makes me look like I'm under the sea, you know? Like I've got like I'm in an ocean right now. And then we got this. Now this, yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. It brings out my red hue, and I think we need to not emphasize our red hue right now. The purple's not bad. It makes my eyes look a little greener. You know what really makes me mad is I was making a thumbnail for all of my shorts. Maybe bluish to contrast with red? Yeah, we could do that. Good idea. Oh, hold on. I gotta cycle through them. Seizure warning. And maybe a little lighter. I have a remote for this. I should just get that. Actually, hold on. I do think this purple, I think it adds. I think it's doing something for me. This is doing something for me. It makes me look like I'm in a void or something. I like this. This is the void. Welcome to the void, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, all around me is just a white box, believe it or not. It's where Soros puts me to generate ideas for the Democratic Party. It's pretty lonely. I can't lie. It is fairly lonely in the void, but gives you a lot of time to think about things. And I think that's something we're really missing in today's society. I think that's something we're really missing. Unfortunately, I don't have my game cam here, so you guys won't be able to see me gaming. And that's a travesty. That's why we're going to be having the horizontal streams as well, because it just gives me more space to actually work with. Now, I was trying to experiment yesterday with the vertical and horizontal stream, and I just could not get, like, I couldn't get the encode, like, I couldn't get the vertical stream not to be just a cropped version of my normal stream. But I know you can do that. Replace Asmin with the game. Yeah, we could do that. Not a bad idea. And I also don't like how they, in OBS, they recently, like, they did a bunch of weird shit with OBS. Alright, one moment. I gotta really zoom in here. You guys have no idea how deeply zoomed I am right now. I am deep in there, man. Don't take this out of context. And then... is this the right window capture? Yes, it is. Haha. I got you. Boom, boom, banana. This is all usually stuff I do off stream, but oh, that is a small box. I have no idea if people are actually going to be able to see the gameplay. Main video twice. Could just have this one on the side as the face cam and have the main video twice. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, the way where it crops is very like strange as well. It doesn't crop, like, it doesn't let you crop the area. It predetermines the area that's like cropped already. And it's just like all you would see is my like one of my subscriber bubbles. That's it. You wouldn't see like anything else. And that's just like, I don't know. I think that looks like, I don't, you know, my shorts viewers aren't, most of my viewers that have come organically. It's covered by the text, but the gameplay there is important in spirit. Yeah, I know what you mean. We're gamers. That's like going to church and not seeing a Bible, you know? Amen, brother Bill. Alright, we're zooming out. This cam's kind of hot. I didn't even realize. It's just like a cheap Ring camera you can get. Not cheap, it's pretty decent, but it's kind of hot. I wasn't expecting it to be this it's hot, but that's alright. That's alright. Anyways, I'd say we're probably in the clear to get started. What about you? What about you guys? How are you feeling? Hopefully well. Alright, let's get to the video. First, I'm going to have to turn Front Mission 4 music off. Unfortunately, we love the Front Mission 4 music. We really do. We love the Italians. We love them. The Italians, they're my favorite. All right, and then we will bring up our boy, ladies and gentlemen, PBS NewsHour. Let me turn off the card of the day. Remember, that's Red Eyes Black Dragon. Powerful beast, powerful beast. I personally like the Red Eyes better than the Blue Eyes. I know that's almost blasphemy. I wish they had a better deck set, truly. Like, I feel Red Eyes should have, like, an equivalent to the Blue Eyes deck, but he really doesn't. Anyways, is there a White Eyes? Dude, there are so many different types of eyes. There's a Rose Eyes, there's a Galaxy Eyes, there's obviously Blue Eyes, Red Eyes. I do think there's a White Eyes. There's Azura Eyes. Azura Eyes Dragon. That's a pretty close. No, I mean, white. Here, let me look it up real quick, actually. I feel like that's something that... There's gotta be a card like that. Let's see. I guess there is no White Eyes. Cause then they'd just be blind, eh? Whoa, what game is this from? Dude, what do they have in you? That is so cool. They're so lucky in Japan. They get such great fucking cards, dude. It's so unfair. We gotta scrounge around. Meanwhile, the Japanese are living in luxury. Okay, Asmon, calm down. Oh, it's just a black void. That's never good. I hate when that happens. You never want to show anybody your black void, dude. That's always a bad time. Anyways, we are going to watch the PBS NewsHour. I think, is there anything else I need to say? It's going to be a longer stream today just because I have today, tomorrow, and then I work, and then the day after, and the day after that off. It's kind of annoying because I do like money, but what can you do? By the way, if you guys are enjoying the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I do a show every day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. typically, where I talk about the news, politics, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So if that interests you, please like the video and hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the going-ons in the news world. Anyways, PBS News Weekend.
Tonight on PBS News Weekend, as Venezuelans watch, the Trump administration says it's not at war with the country, but clarifies how it plans to use oil to achieve its goals. Then we explore a new...
Yeah, guys, we're not at war with the country right now. We just, took their leader and have bombed them, but we're not at war, technically, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's so stupid.
Field in medicine that teaches doctors in training ways to prevent diseases through better food.
Now, where's MAGA is what I'm wondering. I'm waiting for MAGA to join. That's who I'm hoping joins. Ultra MAGA. By the way, am I streaming in the mobile version, Bill, or... I think it's showing me a mobile version, but I just want to make sure.
And how facial recognition powered by AI is helping scientists track the wide-ranging migration patterns of humpback whales.
Much like a face shows recognition features, right? Underside of a humpback whale's tail has patterns and shapes and scars that make them individually recognizable.
Yeah, I know. We're not at war is going to change too. We've always been at war. Yeah, is it like the shorts live stream or is it a normal live stream? I think it's a shorts one. I just want to be sure.
Major funding for PBS News Weekend has been provided by the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions.
Shorts? Alright, got that. Good. I was afraid, like I said, the new update kind of
Friends
fucked
of
a
the
lot of
News
things
Hour.
up, so... But the shorts on the channel have been doing great. I actually, if you guys haven't seen my most recent video about Iran and the potential that the US might intervene into Iran, go check that out. I'm actually pretty proud of that one. And it just essentially goes over what the risk factors for a US intervention into Iran is. I always switch, like, I can never have, like, it's either Iran one day or Iran the next. Like, it's always different for me, unfortunately.
This program was made possible by the contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Desjardins. John Yang is away. The world's eyes are on Venezuela. In Caracas this morning, high tension but relative calm, one day after the U.S. military captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and brought him to the United States for trial on drug trafficking charges and weapons charges. But
well, I think it's fun to mix it around, you know what I mean? You got to keep people on their toes.
Profound questions remain, especially after President Trump's repeated statements that the U.S. will be running Venezuela. On ABC's This Week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio described a more indirect but intense pressure campaign.
First of all, what's going to happen here is that we have a quarantine on their oil. That means their economy will not be able to move forward until the conditions that are in the national interest of the United States and the interest of the Venezuelan people are met.
Officials in the Maduro government in Venezuela remain defiant, including interim President Delcy Rodriguez. But from Trump today, a new threat. He told The Atlantic she will pay a, quote, very big price, probably bigger than Maduro, if she doesn't do what he thinks is right. For the tens of millions in Venezuela, a sense of instability.
Gosh, this is just so disgusting. This isn't what America does, ladies and gentlemen. I actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna watch. There's another video I was watching by War Fronts, and they're very good. I think they've became one of the standouts of YouTube journalism. I really do. I think War Fronts does a great job covering a lot of these conflicts. And he has, or they have a video about the U.S. pulling back from the world stage. How 2025 changed the world. Yeah, I think that's it.
When the year 2025 is written
We'll
into
watch
history books,
that
it's going to
later
be
because
remembered
this
as one of
really
those
does like paint a very vivid picture, in my opinion, of a world that is become multipolar, and how that is really bad for a lot of us. So we're gonna look into them. We're gonna watch that
Looking
video
around, looking
later.
for medicine, for food. There's anxiety and desperation, and we don't know what will happen.
We're all living with this uncertainty to see what will happen, what the directives will be, so we can continue with life.
And we begin our coverage tonight with feature story news reporter Mary Trini Mena in Venezuela's capital, Caracas. Mary, how are people coping there today, and what does that say about where they think things stand?
We've been talking to people here in Caracas, and there are two words that comes to my mind, and those are shock and concern, because I've been driving around the city looking for
concern. Always two great things to have during a regime change, right, guys? Shock and concern. Sounds like this is gonna go great.
Pharmacies and supermarkets, and most of them have people lining up to buy some food and medicine, and not is because there's a scarcity of product, because people believe something more could happen in the coming days. From the government side, the Maduro governments, the people that remain loyal to Nicolás Maduro believe that the country should continue. The Ministry of Defense of Venezuela, General Vladimir Padrino, said so today. He said that the country should continue its activities while demanding the release of Nicolás Maduro. He pledged loyalty to Delcy Rodriguez, which is now the interim president of Venezuela.
What do you know about who is in charge there? Do people believe that the interim government will stand?
It's America, baby. That's who's in charge. What are you talking about? It's America. You need any other explanation? We're running it, baby.
Well, they have the support of Venezuela's security forces, so as long as the high-ranking officials are supporting the government of Delcy Rodriguez, the country is run by most of them. If you walk in the streets of Caracas, you will see checkpoints, you will see police officers and...
Yeah, Pete and Marco is the interchange. Yeah, I agree. I make the joke President Rubio, but I really do think Marco Rubio has a crazy amount of just power over Donald Trump to an insane degree that I have just not seen in most presidents. I mean, this is a special case because Donald Trump is just a puppet, but it really is shocking how quickly Rubio's agenda has been implemented.
Members of different agencies.
I thought you people didn't like minorities. Like, why would you control another nation? Exactly, right? Like, why are we trying? It really feels like we're trying to annex them and create a 51st state, you know? That's what it feels like. And especially with America's national defense strategy being oriented towards the Monroe Doctrine, it really, that's what it feels like. It feels like we're trying to assert our dominance on Latin America, which is totally upends all our geopolitical goals for the last decades upon decades, you know. But Trump's okay with that because, you know, oil good. He like oil.
Agencies of the government,
South Dakota is calling me. Okay, whoever owned this phone before needs to realize, like, whoever had this number, I should say. Not this phone, this is a new phone. But whoever owned this number needs to realize that you can put fake numbers where it asks, like, when you're getting a free trial. I have gotten non-stop calls about this dude named Emirate. I don't know any Emirate. I don't know anybody named Emirate. Oh, yeah. It's Donroe. I forgot. Cuba is happening next. Too bad no one knows who the leader of Cuba is. Trump literally bought an additional Hispanic without papers, too. True, he did. Well, Trump's casus belli for this is so stupid because he's obviously not trying to combat the drug problem. If he was, he wouldn't be pardoning people like the ex-president of Honduras who got in trouble for trafficking drugs. I get call from grade school in Texas Monday through Friday. Oh yeah, it's bad. I think we need to put some legislation through to get rid of, like, make spam calls like this illegal, but our system is a little fucked up right now, so we gotta fix some things before we can get good legislation. You got a new number too? Oh right, phones in the US are tied to carriers, aren't they? Yeah, unfortunately. Dude, I've probably had like 20 numbers in my life.
Everything is staying calm. So when you feel that, and you feel that they are in control of the domestic flights, the border, you tend to believe that they are in control of the situation. Really, the city is in calm. There are some demonstrations in favor of Maduro and some other people that decided to really stay at home and wait what will happen in the coming days.
Mary, our last question in the last few seconds. Do you have a sense of how people there view the United States right now?
I've been asking that too, and when you ask about the outcome of the operation, some people say that it was unfair that the U.S. Attacked Venezuelan soil, making or posing a risk on Venezuelans, not only on
Yeah,
the authorities.
it's not, you're not just putting risk on Nicolas Maduro, but you're also putting risk on everybody else who has who lives in Venezuela. It's not just a zero-sum game like that. Anyways. I used to have like 7 numbers, but the government banned that a decade ago because it was used to set up servers or something. I could see where that would come into an issue.
They were looking for, and some other people prefer.
By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. I don't know why I did that action for subscribe, but subscribe. I do a show every day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. where I talk about the news, politics, that type of stuff, and we're a growing community out here. We're a growing community.
Not to respond that question because they say they have fears of reprisals from the government. We need to remember that Venezuelans are living under an authoritarian regime, and there's censorship in the country. There are TV stations that are not broadcasting the events, just the
now you need to get a
message
physical you have to be physically present to get a SIM and are capped at 5 per head.
From the Maduro government and his loyals.
Mary Trini Mena, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
In Washington, divisions are deepening over President Trump's actions in Venezuela. On Fox News Sunday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called the move necessary.
We have been building a case against murder.
Oh my God, of course she did. What? This woman shot her dog. Why are we listening to her? This woman was proud of the fact, you know, fuck shocking your dog. This woman shot her dog. Crazy. And now she's the Homeland Security Secretary. Just crazy.
For years, Homeland Security investigations along with the FBI.
Okay, you guys are
and the
hearing
CIA.
this, right? Fuck it, we'll answer it. Hello, you are now live to it. Oh. They didn't want to talk, unfortunately. They didn't want to talk.
They have been tracking
Not
his drug
fans.
trafficking, his crimes against humanity right here in the
Not
United
fans.
States. And to see him brought to justice is incredibly satisfying.
But
I'm sure
Senate
it is.
Minority Leader Democrat Chuck Schumer said the goal does not justify the means.
Maduro's a...
I was seeing some fucking criticism in Pisco's channel the other day for Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' comments. And I really do wonder, like, what are they expecting? I have the same default ringtone. It's creepy hearing it. I agree. But like, what was Pisco, what was his chat expecting, you know? Are they expecting Chuck to launch articles of impeachment immediately? Like, of course that's not going to work. Like, we have to be tactful about this, you know? We really do. Trump has open door in the future so other nations can do this to us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, something else that Donnie isn't really thinking about is that maybe some of these civilians are growing resentment towards the U.S. and we worry about terrorists coming from the Middle East. We should probably start, you know, looking down towards Latin America because we're fucking them up so much. I could see some people gaining resentment towards that. And this FBI is way too incompetent to catch another, like, they will not catch the 9/11 2.0. If a 9/11 2.0 is going to happen, it will happen in Trump's presidency. And that's sad, and I hope it never happens, but unfortunately, this DOJ is full of incompetence. Chuck does suck in general. They are operating on autopilot. I disagree. I think Chuck is doing. I think he's going to shut down the government, for one. I think we're barreling towards one, and the Democrats are pissed again, and it's going to be a whole mess. Trump might want other nations. So if you were even alive. Do I have to be born during Pearl Harbor to talk about Pearl Harbor, sir? Lord Naroko? What a weird name. Lord Naroko. Can I ever talk about Pearl Harbor? Am I just not allowed to talk about Pearl Harbor anymore? You see how stupid that is? How was I talking about it differently? And I was alive during 9/11. You realize that, right, Bubs? I was a whole 1 year old. So I don't remember anything, but I was alive. Generally, the perspective is different. How is my perspective going to be different? What do you mean? How does me speculating that since this DOJ is incompetent, another terrorist attack like 9/11 could happen? How would age change that? How would being there change my opinions on that? No, I think you lack context for the moment, and I don't think you know what you're arguing against right now, to be quite honest. Like, do you want me to give you a medal because you were alive during 9/11? You know what I mean? Okay, but brother, you realize all the people that go after my age just can't contend with the points that I'm actually making, so they're like, "Oh, you're too young." But as a matter of fact, I'm making very good points and you're not answering them. So I'm going to continue with the video. If you want to answer what my age has to do with me speculating that this DOJ is incompetent and could lead to another 9/11 or major terrorist attack. Until you answer that, I'm going to continue on the video.
Horrible, horrible person. But you don't treat lawlessness with other lawlessness. When America tries to do regime change...
You know, something I was talking about with Ice Beans, I was in Ice Beans chat yesterday. Shout out to Ice Beans. She's super cool. I think I have an in on a Wick panel. I just need a topic. But I do have an in on a Wick panel. And me and Wick have chatted before in chats and stuff, so I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I do wonder, I'm pretty decent at debating, but I do wonder in these more heated debates how I could do. John Public says, like Joe Biden didn't destroy it already. What are you talking about? We had nonstop job growth under Biden. Our economy was booming. I mean, how did you miss the bull run of the S&P 500? You must have not been very perceptive, my friend. Libby, stop being such big crybabies. You're the one sewing out in my chat, friend. Not me.
And nation building in this way, the American people pay the price. in both blood and in dollars.
For more understanding, we turn to Sylvia
Like, how is
Pietasa.
this a bad statement? I don't think this was a bad statement at all. But Pisco was like, ah, Chuck. It's like they can, like, I like Pisco. I know he's a lib. So why does he have to keep attacking Schumer and stuff? It's quite ridiculous.
From the University of Michigan.
Damn,
who
the
has
bots
studied
went real
Venezuela
quiet,
and its
though. The bots went real quiet when I hit them with the facts. The fact of the matter is Joe Biden's economy was absolutely booming. And Trump's economy wishes it could even stand up. It can't even stand up to Biden's economy. Okay, guys, I just read a message and I have no idea what it means. Please tell me if you can decipher this. Stick B30 says, more watching a woman play with dolls than you. You like watching children play with dolls, sir? That is very strange. That is very weird. I would get that looked into, personally. You like that? That sounds like hell to me. I would not want to do that. Like, that's why I don't have children, you know what I mean? Sounds boring as hell.
Diaspora. Sylvia, you've been watching Spanish language news, including from Venezuela. How's the Latin American world viewing this?
Well, I think that any authoritarian regime, whether of the left or the
Losers
right,
like you will always lose. Damn. How to cope even harder with the fact that your president isn't doing well. You want me to bust out the world's smallest violin? Maybe play a little bit of the world's saddest song? Trump is making up booming random countries. Yeah. He's, making up by bombing random countries. Sorry. President needs 2 terms to get stuff done. Joe was trying to fix what every term broke in his first term. And he did a good job, honestly. Like, if you look at his policy, it was really good. It was very progressive. Like, you wouldn't have known it if you watched the news, but if you look at the bills he passed, they were very progressive, bipartisan.
right creates.
Oh, crisis missing, having a spurg out. Liberals are so stupid and pathetic. Bah! Big Mike, AOC 2020.
A lot of opposition. And some of that opposition leaves the country. There is a massive exodus that takes place. Some of it ends up in prisons if they are politically active. And some of it just tries to remain focused.
See, this is what I'm afraid of. These images are going to stay in the minds of so many Venezuelans. These images right here. And my biggest fear is that they associate these images with America. And so now, instead of a pro-democracy force fighting for the people and democracy, it's a force of devastation and raiding. Notice how Trump fan in chat is calling someone old enough to still play with dolls a woman. Epstein cover-up in full swing. Amen, dude. Yes, sir. Trump heroically bypassed Congress and stopped Venezuela oil from running fraudulent daycares. I know, dude. Oh my gosh. All that oil going to Venezuela, or the Somali daycares. It's quite a scheme going on that we've got going on here. Trying to help out with student loan problems. Talking about Biden. Yeah, Biden had a super progressive policy, and unfortunately, he just didn't really have much support. Epstein files didn't exist until Biden's woke scientists started claiming they do, right? The Epstein files weren't even real, and then all these wokies decided, ugh, we need to hold our people accountable. Lame. And then Lonzer Wright says, speak up so I can finish. Kinda gross, brother. You need help. And then Lonzer Wright tries. See, when you say something like "speak up so I can finish," I'm not really gonna respect, what else you have to say. So now you're just kind of a gooner. You've been branded a gooner, and that is a heavy toll. That is a heavy burden to
lead their
hold.
own lives and to keep it, at the margins. So I think that
My
most
name's in the
Venezuelans are
files.
actually very happy with
That's
this
supposed to be
outcome.
a secret, man.
They did their best by holding very fair, true democratic.
Well, hold on. I do wonder, Stick, right? Why exactly are you not okay with the Epstein files coming out? Because our representatives of the public signed a bill into law saying all of the related files need to come out. And the only things that can be redacted are the victims' names, and yet they still haven't come out. Yeah, Trump had his name redacted, so it's only Dems in the files. And then it's been such a sloppy release. Like, don't lie, you can't say you're not at least a little disappointed with how the DOJ is rolling this out. MAGA's everything you're putting online will be there forever. Remember that. That's also very important to remember, is that everything you put online will be there. And then 10 years from now, it's going to look pretty stupid when you were just hating on random Somalian people just because you thought they were stealing your money. Like, that's like the oldest xenophobia in the book. The host is just mad he didn't make it to Epstein Island. You can tell he's a pedo. Just look at him. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you. But didn't you just say I was on Epstein Island? Make up your mind.
Elections in July 2024.
Trump didn't terminate the Constitution, and patriotically, unlike the separation of powers, just so some meddling judges or laws could try and stop him with pesky checks and balances. Amen. It's what the founding fathers would have wanted. Stop feeding the pig. Amen.
And that got them nowhere because Maduro did
By the
not
way, if you guys are
acknowledge.
enjoying this stream, please remember to like and subscribe. I do a show every day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. where I talk about the news and politics and that kind of stuff. Today's my first day having a face cam, so sorry if I seem a little uncomfortable.
The results of the elections, and he pretended that they were false, though the Democratic opposition had a lot of data showing that they were true. And so, this is the only possible outcome, really. It's not one that I think that most people.
Yeah, and something else we're not really taking into account is what happens if these groups splinter. All the factions within Venezuela. For example, what if one of the drug cartels, one of the bigger drug cartels, starts to have let's say their head guy gets taken out, and then there's two disagreements between the lower lieutenants about who's going to lead. It could quickly devolve into a all-out war between the two factions of the drug cartels, completely independent of what's happening with the U.S. All troops supporting Trump will get sucker reward as well as a loser medal. I agree, and it's sad. I respect our troops to the nth degree, and that's why I don't advocate for just sending them abroad like this. Like, think about it. We have boots on the ground in Venezuela. That would have been unthinkable to the Republican Party not even 5 years ago, not even a month ago. And Stick, I think you must take a look in the mirror to find the pig. And J-Dam here hates America and the Constitution. Trump 2028, that is actually illegal.
Word, But I
And
think
if you guys want to do Trump 2028, we'll run Obama, and then you guys will just get decimated.
Venezuelans are very happy because they realize that they
Or,
have done.
dude, we wouldn't even need Obama. We could probably run Gavin against you guys, and you guys would crumble. Damn, J-Dam got he got hit with a J-Dam himself. J-Dam got J-Damned to hell.
Everything that they could, and that this was the only solution left.
President Trump is focused on now interim President Delcy Rodriguez. The Supreme Court essentially put her in that position. Yesterday, he praised her.
Robert Boyd says, performative foreign policy using the military to distract from the failed administration economics and the Epstein files. Amen, sir. That is completely true. We're coming for you fucking Democrats. See, this man hates America. Because I would never say that about my fellow American. I love Americans, and I love all of my fellow patriots. I just think you guys got sold a lie. One moment. I saw a interesting comment. Never mind, I guess I lost it. You only get 3 for the Robert. I grade on a scale of 1 to 10. Try way harder next time. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Talking to Robert. My bad. All right.
Today he threatened.
Trump will release us from our burden of voting by staying in and gracefully passing the presidency on to an appointee. It's what the founding fathers would have wanted, right? Yeah, King George, that founding father.
Her. He has ignored pointedly the opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado.
J-Dam, you sound like a alcoholic.
Oh. How wide is her support, do you think? And what do you see if Trump tries to freeze her movement out altogether?
Well, I think that's not possible. I think that Trump
Nothing angers me more than the thought of my tax dollars might be going to help a fellow American. That's why I always wonder, like, why are you guys so upset about taxes? It is literally helping out your community. I think it just goes to show you how selfish some people are. Like, well, I don't want a lot of taxes. I'm Canadian, just trolling for Republican morons. Quite easy. I'm enjoying the channel. Good commentator. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I really do.
To work with Maria Corina Machado.
But yeah, trolling MAGA is pretty fun. I can't lie. It doesn't help your community when you get these Somalians taking billions. So that's interesting because those are American citizens, for one. So they are our community. And number 2, the head of that operation was a white woman.
Mundo Gonzalez, the elected president at the parliamentary
J-Dam,
elections.
you have a very weird obsession with genitalia. I think you might need to look into why that is and maybe address some things. That money belongs to the rich and we have no right to take it. Yeah, that's what bribes are for.
I think he needs to.
Yeah, they're taking trillions at this point. Get your facts straight. I mean, at this point, they're taking a quintillion. We had to invent a new metric for how much money they were taking.
With them. And also with the exile. You know, there is a significant exile from Venezuela. 8 million people have left. 4 million are in Colombia. Over 1.5 million are in the United States, Peru, Ecuador, Brazil. Lots of countries in the region have Venezuelans, and some of them will want to return and to be.
Trump wants us to be 51st state. You can suck my amen, dude. No, you guys are our neighbors. You're our brothers, and we would never. The American people would stand up against that. I like you're honestly seeing a little bit with Venezuela already. I mean. Yeah, sorry, my name is not Bubba. You know, we really did get our first LGBT president and Donald Trump, huh?
Part of the process of reconstruction.
Sorry.
So there needs to form a sort of a round table, using the Polish analogy, in which you have,
Hey,
Trump.
Capon, you're right. How did you know? Soros and snowballs are funding the left. Rich foreigners have no right to interfere with our country. Elon needs access to our info so he can deport them. Yeah, I'm funded by Soros, actually. Completely funded. Dark money.
And the United States and its interests, Corina Machado and the president elected, and also representatives of the exile community. And all three of them together need to reconstruct the country and to
James
restart it,
Buchanan
and
was
not
the
just
first
the
gay
the United
president.
States.
You know, as we just heard, there are mixed views of the United States right now. Some of those surround widespread concern in the view of one person who texted me that the United States is there to just plunder the oil reserves there. Others say, no, China has had too much influence, that Venezuela has been the puppet of China and the U.S. has to intervene. Can you help us with that debate right now over the U.S. and oil?
Well, that's very big, but I think that the available data to me. I sat and watched President Trump's speech. In the beginning, he talked about the reasons behind the U.S. intervention being related to the narco traffic.
It was Big Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz blew Bill Clinton. That's crazy.
And the drug trade that came from Venezuela to the United States. He spent some time.
Okay, this is just straight cope. Are you guys ready to hear the cope? All right, let's begin. We are not after the oil. Trump literally said in his statement after capturing Maduro that it was for the oil. We have plenty here. We need to open up our fields and pipelines again. It was Biden who was obsessed with other countries' oil. Actually, not true. Under Biden, we hit a record in amount of oil we were pumping. So you're wrong again, friend. Trump there just for oil? How dare they deport them for sedition? These guys need to be tone down their rhetoric. I know, right?
Then he very briefly mentioned democracy. It was remarkably brief. And then he spent a lot
That's
of
a
time.
lie? That's not a lie. You can look it up. Look up how many barrels per day was Biden's average, and you'll see it was the highest it's ever been.
Talking about the oil reserves that had been part of the United States and the need for the United States.
JDM, you are a soft individual, and it's very sad to see. But just another diversion from the Epstein files and people's healthcare costs going to unaffordable. Amen, dude. And that's why we might see a government shutdown happening here towards the end of January, because healthcare is increasingly becoming unaffordable. It wasn't just unaffordable during the government shutdown and then everybody's healthcare just went back down. We're still struggling out here, and this is just like Garcia said, it's just another distraction for content.
Now update them and
so
repurpose them because
Venezuela's oil is a
such
sour
sorry
crude,
shape.
and it's very funny what you're doing there, because you realize most of our refineries are set up to refine a sour crude, right? You think you could pull a fast one there, huh? Yes, our factories are meant to handle that sour crude oil. You thought I wouldn't know that. You're funny.
And that this would benefit not just the United States, but the Venezuelan people. So I think that he himself has told everybody that.
Hell
for
yeah,
him, the
K-Pons with the J-Dam, joining in the J-Dam fight. I like to see it. Yeah, we're just trying to trans your pets, guys. Come on. I believe that if a female dog feels like they're a male dog, they can change their gender. Yes, that is what I believe. President James Buchanan never married, despite living to be very old, and lived a long time with William King, who also never married. Well, hell yeah, dude. Sounds like they were lovers through and through.
Important issue was the oil issue.
That's clearly
However,
a coincidence planned by the left, right? Yeah, yeah. That's funny, dude. Joe Biden knew we were going to
For the
invade
Venezuelan
Venezuela,
people
so
who
he
are hungry.
retrofitted all of our refineries. It's interesting growing up poor and brown and seeing the generation of white people below me getting the same shit deal that I got. They have so much righteous indignation, right? Well, I do feel like there's a big issue, but it's not necessarily a race issue. It's much more an issue of the lower class being continually exploited by these corporate, I call them techno wizards, because if you look at their abilities, they're literal fucking techno wizards with what they can do with their money. And so I think it's a battle between the corporations and the common man. I don't think it's a battle between white and black. I don't think it's a battle between cultures. It's a battle between these companies who have so much power. Like, think they can shape narratives if they want to. What other person has that ability to shape a narrative like that? Anyways,
On the streets, clearly.
Venezuelan oil is pretty bad quality, but it's higher quality than the tar sands oil that is booming in the U.S. Very
For
true.
them to
And the
make
U.S.'s refineries aren't even set up to refine some of our oil. We have to import a lot of our oil. Just another. Oh, we've got more cope. Ladies and gentlemen, say hi to the coper, David Holtz. Just another D webcast following the script, likely being financed by laundered U.S. aid grants. Dude, didn't they shut U.S. aid down? Oh, hold on. We've got a spam call. Hello? You are live. You are live to over 1 trillion people right now. Oh, I didn't want to talk. Anyways, back to David. Um, USAID grant. Oh, if you can't see the fellow MAGA, click top chat and switch it to live chat. The webcast. Given dubious NGOs and have difficulty showing when the money really went. Well, you're totally right, David. You caught on to it. I don't know how you got it this quick. We were hoping to have this thing running for like probably, I don't know, like a couple more days, but unfortunately David Holtz is too smart and he is on the case. So you sound I'm not gonna say that word. JDam, are you okay, man? You sound like you're projecting a lot of sexually explicit things that have happened to you onto me. And I think this is why I advocate, people like JDam are why I advocate so hard for mental health and therapy, because spurging out and saying these weird things about a random streamer you see on YouTube Shorts is typically not good for your mental health. I enjoy it because it gives me a chance to make fun of you, but I'm sure like you probably don't enjoy being made fun of. So
major issue is democracy.
I want to play some sound from Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
if they had difficulty showing where the money went, then how would it get to you? You see here, it's all about the liquidity of money. Biden decided to be an adequate president. Just go fuck America over. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Is capitalism the root of all the problem in the world, or is the root cause something else generally? I think so. I don't think it's capitalism necessarily. I believe in the system that we had for a really long time. The issue is the system is broken right now because greedy corporate billionaires are able to shell out massive amounts of money to their preferred candidate. And then we also have things like gerrymandering, which prevent actual bipartisan members go into Congress, and instead people elect super partisan people. And so I think the big issue with our system right now is the guardrails have kind of failed. The guardrails against corruption have kind of failed. And so for the next presidency, we need to have somebody who is very focused on law and order, and true law and order, not what Trump does as a casus belli to harass minorities. No, true law and order. And then if we go after these corporate scumbags that, like, think about this. We're leaving almost $1 trillion on the table by not funding the IRS. $1 trillion worth of fraud, and we're talking high-level, corporate-level fraud, is just being left on the table. It's ridiculous. And so I think if we empower our agencies that were designed to go after these corporate billionaires, and we empower them, we'll see problems slowly start to evaporate. I also think we need to split apart some of these companies. For example, I think there should be 4 Amazons. There should be 10 Walmarts. You know, there shouldn't be a Dollar General. That's just straight up. There should not be a Dollar General. Well, you want to see why the rich hate Democrats? Let's see if it's too big. Hold on. You guys want to see why the rich hate Democrats so much? I've got a graph to show you, but I got to shrink it down a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you, though, why the rich hate Democrats so much. Or I'll show you how much the rich hate Democrats. Because we represent the people, and the Republicans represent con men. Look at that graph. The red line this is a graph of 100 wealthiest people and their political campaign contributions. Around 2023, for some reason, Republicans' donations skyrocket and Democrats go straight to the ground. I wonder why that is, you know? By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and gets the lib message out there. Every Democratic president in history has lowered the national debt and given us deflation. Yeah, I think if you look at all of the Democrats in history, well, I think it's because they actually care about helping the American people out, opposed to the Republicans, which are just kind of full of scam artists right now. Republicans equal party of the rich. Amen. When I saw that campaign contribution list, it really did just blow my mind, dude. You're telling me that Republicans they're like the only one receiving major financial contributions now. It's crazy. Anyways, I'm going to continue on with the PBS NewsHour.
Today, he's addressing concerns that the U.S. is in over its head here, that the U.S. is taking on too much risk. Here's what he said.
I see what you did there. You like to play with numbers, and you think by playing with numbers you're able to trick people, but I know what you're doing there. Remember, it's not the top 20% we have a problem with, folks. It's the top 1%. Not the top 20. The top 1% owns about 50% of the wealth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at how MAGA will try to play with their numbers and stick B3O's message here. He's saying the top 20%. The top 20% includes just normal people who have put money into their 401k, who have just become millionaires by putting money into their accounts. But obviously, the tax cuts are not aimed at the top 20%, are they? They're aimed at the top 1% of that. They're aimed at the highest tax bracket. Gavin Newsom's GDP is so great, we give money to Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas because Republicans are too stupid to know how to make money. Exactly. You're wrong, dude. You got Google. Well, I don't need Google. I just explained to you why you were wrong.
The whole, foreign policy apparatus thinks everything is Libya, everything is Iraq, everything is Afghanistan. This is not the Middle East. And our mission here is very different. This is the Western Hemisphere.
That's so funny, though, that you did that top 20% meme. I've seen that. I've seen some Republicans try to do that.
History in Latin America, there are real concerns about risks to the United States intervention here. How do you see those risks in our last 30 seconds or so?
I think that there is a risk to returning to the Monroe Doctrine of America for the Americans.
Oh, we already are. Yep, it's called the Donroe Doctrine now, apparently.
Americans, meaning for the United States and not for the whole.
Jesus himself would say it's okay for one man to have more wealth than half of his country. Very selfish for anyone to even suggest to give up anything. It's what the founding fathers would have wanted. I'm backwards? No, I'm good. I'm good.
Western Hemisphere, which is what it should be.
Everything is straightforward.
That I want to emphasize that what needs to happen.
Oh, dude, Obama's run was just so nice. Trump is my president. I know. The sky is blue. Did you know that? If you go outside and look on the ground, you'll see this stuff called grass. I don't mind paying my fair share, but don't R-word me. Well, I think, I hear that a lot of the time, Stick, and I think one of the core issues is we really don't know where our taxes go, right? I think there needs to be a lot more open of a system and maybe a forum of some sort that can tell people exactly where it's all going.
Process of reconstruction in Venezuela is for a round table of the United States.
Because I'm sure, if you knew that, some of the most of the money was going towards bringing your fellow American up, going towards money, I don't know, daycares or stuff like that, I'm sure you'd be like, well, daycares are a little touchy right now because of the Nick Shirley video, but, I'm sure you'd be okay with it. But one of our issues is we just don't really know where our taxes go. And I'm all for transparency in that aspect. Anything good for the states, and you are still going to hate, what a joke, God bless the USA. Well, I agree with you. I love the USA, but that's totally not true. I like the idea of the Trump accounts. However, I do find issue with the fact that if you're not hitting that maximum cap each year, your gains are going to be very diminished. And while you may start out with 1,000 for somebody who's putting money in there all constantly, at a consistent basis of 5,000 per month or something like that, they're going to get great dividends and they're going to be set. However, if you're in the lower wealth class and you can't make those monthly payments, all you're going to have is like $3,000, which is nice, but it's nothing that's going to change people's lives. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to make people's lives feel more meaningful, and so they can contribute to the economy with their ideas and all sorts of things like that. So, no, you're completely wrong. You're just fighting a straw man that you've created in your mind, and that's never good. Never good for you. Every Republican president brings your inflation higher, brings you higher inflation, greater debt, and a recession. Well, I think we're about to see something similar in Trump's term. The economy is looking weird, dude. Some markets will close. You don't really, not a lot of people are talking about it, but some markets will close really high, and then some markets are closing at a loss, which is typically not good. The markets are disagreeing with each other on where they see the future of the country heading. Not good.
The exile community and the democratically elected organized community in Venezuela to come together and together work out a program of reconstruction.
Sylvia Pedrosa, we thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
In tonight's other news, parts of Northern California are bracing for more rain as residents try to escape rising
It's the art of the
floodwaters.
deal, profiting off bankruptcy. That's what Trump is that's what's important, is that Trump is able to maximize profits. Amen. That's all he seems to really care about. It doesn't feel like he has the American people's ideals truly in his heart.
Combination of heavy rains and so-called king tides have led to dangerous driving conditions this weekend. Several drivers had to be rescued from their cars in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. King tides happen when the sun, moon,
Donald
and
Trump's
Earth align.
first term office, over 8,000 people died from COVID-19. Hospitals had truckloads of dead bodies in front of them. Trump tried to kill everybody in America. Biden's open borders led to far too much illegal irrigation. Right? Our crops were doing so well under Biden. Now we've got Trump threatening, to withhold soybeans.
And in a way that brings tide levels
God,
to their
Biden had
highest.
such a girthy irrigation base, dude.
More rain is expected across Northern California through Monday, which the National Weather Service says could lead to flash flooding. Overseas
Oh
now.
my God, you're right. Hence the flooding. Oh my goodness. That's why it's Biden's illegal irrigation. Good thing Trump defunded the CDC again. Oh yeah. You guys remember how beefy the CDC used to be? Dude, we had people... Get a real job, your channel is not going to make it. I have a real job, and I do think I'm doing pretty well. It's gotten you to stay for a very long time, so I think I'm doing just fine, brother. Thank you for the concern troll, though. I appreciate that.
Hundreds gathered to attend a church service and memorial for those killed in a New Year's Day fire in
And Stick, all I'm gonna say is, it's more than you could do.
Switzerland. People packed a local church and formed a procession to the makeshift
Oh
shrine.
yeah, K-Pons. I believe that's the North Korea style of pandemic era protection.
Built for the victims. At least 40 people were killed and more than 100 others injured when a fire erupted in a bar in the early hours of New Year's Day. Swiss authorities announced this weekend they have opened a criminal investigation into the bar's manager.
By the way, if you guys have any disagreements, please come into my Discord. I would love to see you guys here. Let me get the Discord link for you guys. If you guys also want behind the scenes access to That Guy Doesn't Exist, also known as seeing my crazy like tweets that are just Discord messages, go into my Discord. Alright, I'm running out of material. Well, hey, that's alright, K-Pons. You're kicking ass out here. I appreciate you being here, dog. Trump is killing our country. He needs to be taken out of our house. I agree. I think he is really hurting the integrity of America. I threw you a like. Hey, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I'd love to see you here again. You seem like a cool dude.
After a preliminary investigation showed sparklers in champagne bottles likely caused the deadly blaze. Moving to Nigeria, where gunmen killed at least 30 people and abducted several others. It happened overnight in a small village in the northern part of the country, near the area where 300 school children were kidnapped in November. The gunmen stormed the village, opened fire on residents, and razed the local market and houses. Armed rogue gangs in Nigeria often target remote communities that don't have extensive security or government presence. Still to come on PBS News Weekend, a new approach to teaching medicine by teaching future doctors more about food, and how cutting-edge AI is leading to insights about an ancient...
We're probably going to skip on the culinary medicine and the tracking of whales. Very interesting, but we've got more to get into. This is President Donald J. Trump at his press gaggle on Air Force One. I poked around to find out why the top 100 wealthiest owners shifted so much, and the biggest piece of that is Elon Musk. After that, a lot of, is the Israeli motivated post-October 7th? I mean, hey, all, All I'm gonna say is that that kind of still lines up with what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I believe in a two-state solution, and so I understand why. I don't know that whole situation. I try to not comment on too much because my fellow planet loner box, who I'm technically an orbiter of, he covers it very well, and I'm just not nearly educated on the region to really comment on it too much.
We have some good people. We have Senator Lindsey Graham.
Hello,
We
everybody.
have Howard Lutnick, Commerce. We have Steve
I
Miller.
think
We have a lot of people.
mostly because Biden actually supporting unions and workers. I'll bet he campaigned on releasing the files so he could extort money out of people in the files cover-up. One more thing before I go. Call me racist, fascist, Nazi, whatever. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Friend is a revolution that can't be stopped. Um, I, uh, I'm not calling you a fascist or anything like that, dog. I think people who voted for Donald Trump are typically just Americans who got sold a false bill of goods. Americans who were actually hurting at the time who got sold a false bill of goods. You know? And so I have no ill will towards MAGA. I have ill will, I hate their leaders like Donald Trump and Pete and all the talking heads, but I have no issue with normal MAGA.
We have Aaron. We have a lot of people. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. President. Have you spoken with any of the U.S. service members who were injured during that operation in Venezuela?
Yes, we have calls into them. I'm going to speak. They're all in good shape.
Can you detail what watching that was like when all of this played out in Venezuela and what Maduro was doing that moment?
Well, I knew the possible danger. I mean, it was a very dangerous operation. It was amazing that we had a few injured, but all are in good shape right now. But I knew there was great danger. You got off a helicopter. The helicopters were being shot at. They got on the ground. They were amazing.
Oh, so we did have boots on the ground. Okay. Well, that clears it up. We did have boots on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be willfully ignorant and blatantly dishonest to still support Trump. It's not even left-right thing. That's all there is to it. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people do fall into the team sports of it all and stuff like that. But, I do try to bring an example of a liberal who isn't as vicious towards my right brethren, because at the end of the day they're still American, and they're still American, and I want to make this country better for all of us, not just me. God bless Trump. Well, I don't know if God is blessing him, you know what I mean? Way too many vibes-based voters. I agree with that. I think I really I've boiled down to the issue with MAGA is that they take politics extremely personally. And so you kind of have to play on that, right? You can't just ignore that and just, because if you throw stats at them, you throw all this, they're just going to say, oh, well, that's all just woke institutions. You have to make a moral argument, and not only a moral one, but a personal argument. And I see a lot of my brethren on the left kind of fall for the they don't think vibe like people vote like they know they do, but they think they can convince them with enough evidence and stuff, and unfortunately you're not going to be able to convince them with that. What you're going to be able to convince them with is a story, a story about how Snap is going to help a person they know. Simple as that. I don't bother debating anymore because they aren't based in reality anymore. Yeah, it is hard to kind of debate them, especially, well, it's not hard, but they just keep going in these thought loops. And they like to get caught in the weeds nowadays. I'm not about that, dude. I am about, I present an argument, you try to argue against it. If you can't, I win. If you can, I lose, That's how we do it. I don't, I don't do half measures where we just yell at each other for a little bit. No, one of us is gonna admit they're right, and and they're wrong, and it's embarrassing for some people. That's why they do it. You present lies. What lies have I told? Please tell me, what lies have I told? We're waiting. Retired life, Dipalong. Congratulations on being retired, by the way. Donald Trump wants to push that by 5 years, so hopefully you're well retired, because he's coming after you.
Tremendous patriotism, bravery. The bravery was incredible. Lindsay, they got off the helicopter and the bullets were flying all over the place. As you know, one of the helicopters got hit pretty badly, but we got everything back. Got everything back, and nobody killed.
The next question is, who's in charge of Venezuela right now? Have you spoken?
I have no idea. That's a lie? What? Oh, that he's... No, they're trying to change the retirement age. What are you talking about?
Into the newly sworn in president there, Rodriguez, and what are your thoughts on the entire situation when you said the U.S.
5 years. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, from 60 to 65. There's nothing bad that could happen there between those times.
would run Venezuela?
We're dealing with the people.
See, and now, since I've called them out on something that isn't even that hard to defend, he calls bull BS. And instead of like telling him an actual fact, I could just be like, well, don't you enjoy retirement? Haven't you done more things in your life that are fulfilling and make things more meaningful? Haven't you had more time to spend with your kids? Don't they appreciate that? I don't even do the win-lose thing. It's more about the understanding the other's position, but they don't have a position most of the time. It's W/E. It's okay with the party at the moment. Well, I think when you don't... So, like, when it comes to online content creators, right? I think with the right, the only way to deal with them is to make fun of them and meme on them. You know, they're not honest. They're not genuine. They don't come at you with honesty. I bring this quote up all the time, but it's the quote about how the anti-Semite, will be overjoyed the moment a Jew turns out their pocket, because that's what they wanted. They wanted the Jew to feel like everybody thought they were something horrible and stuff. And it won't matter if you turn out your pocket and show that you're not committing, you know. Thanks for the like stream. I have to go get stuff done before work. Well, have a great day. It was good seeing you, Messa. I hope to see you here again. It was really fun having you in the chat. A lot of Trump people are more about Trump than they are about the GOP. It depends, though. Some are all about the party. I say it depends on the person. Well, I have Republicans in my chat a lot of the time that, you know, are the more traditional Republican, but they don't like what Trump's doing.
Well, we're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
That means we're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with
Oh yeah, I agree, Capons. At least with real Republicans, I can understand their positions. Like, I get being maybe a little more fiscally conservative, maybe, you know, tightening the budget here and there. I understand that. Of course I do. But Trump is not for that. He is for something completely against the American ideal. You know? And so I honestly feel bad for a lot of a lot of Republicans that are of the more traditional conservative mindset. I feel bad for them, dude. Because this is their party now. It's never going to be the party of fiscally conservative people and people who are focused on the budget and stuff. It's never going to be that. Trump has not supported raising the retirement age.
No.
Let me
no, I haven't,
fact
but
check
other
that.
people
One
have.
moment, folks.
Yeah, at the right time, I will.
Did the U.S. give Delcy Rodriguez any guarantees in exchange for cooperating
No,
with your
no,
administration?
but she's cooperating.
Are you going to demand free and fair elections in the short term in Venezuela?
Well, it depends. You know, what you're talking. We have to do one thing in Venezuela, bring it back. It's a dead country right now. It's a country that, frankly, we would have been, if I had lost the election, we would have been a dead country. We would have been Venezuela on steroids. Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments.
Oh,
by
my
the oil
bad. It was a
companies to bring back the
Republican policy. My bad. Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're going to rebuild the
Your dear leader didn't say it. It was just a policy supported by most of his constituents. My apologies. That means he doesn't believe in it, guys. That means he doesn't believe in it.
You know, we built it to start off with many years ago.
Actually, hold on, because I'm seeing conflicting reports. Why is Trump saying Venezuela wrong? Well, he's bad at pronouncing things. I'm seeing conflicting reports right now. Yeah, he's wanted to change the Social Security age for a while. What are you talking about?
They took it away. You can't do that. And you can't do that with me. They did it with other presidents.
I just talk out of my ass. Yep, I just talk out of my ass. Completely out of it. You got me. Anyways, let's get back to the video.
Do you think an election can take place in Venezuela? How soon can an election take place?
Well, I think we're looking more at getting it fixed, getting it ready first, because it's a mess. The country is a mess. It's been horribly run. The oil is just flowing at a...
Yeah, I mean, I can admit when I'm wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. Trump didn't say that. But it's not a lie because it was based in, I mean, there is truth to that. Republicans have been trying to raise the Social Security age for years.
Very low level.
Retired Life, do you want to come into my Discord, man? Can you come into my Discord and debate me? You seem like you, would be a fun one to talk to. Come into my Discord and debate me. But his cuts will make it necessary. Okay, maybe that's... Yeah, I know I saw something about that, but I can admit when I'm wrong, you know? Oh, he's nervous. Oh, are you nervous? Are you nervous, Retired Life, Diplong? Are you nervous? 2020, Trump wrote a book in which he suggested raising the retirement age in the interest of solvency. He personally opposed doing that since being in politics. Okay. Trump is saving lives. Yes, saving lives by killing... by blowing up boats. I love it.
Much lower than...
It's almost like somebody said the reason we attacked Venezuela was because of China. Like, oh, okay. Well, it still doesn't justify it. Whoa!
Even if it was badly...
What lives is he saving, though? Michael, can you please tell me what lives they're
run,
saving?
it should have more income, more oil than what they're doing. So we're going to have the big oil companies go in, and they're going to fix the infrastructure, and they're going to invest money. We're not going to invest anything. We're going to just take care of the country.
Well, I don't need to know the people of Venezuela to talk about geopolitics. It's American right, my brother. Or sister. Yeah, we had to stop that oil from trafficking drugs. It was just constantly going around and then delivering drugs to our U.S., our Americans. The lives that would be destroyed by poverty and by drugs. Well, interestingly enough, poverty has just went up since Donald Trump has been in the White House. But something else I I would point out is that these drugs are not going to America. They're going to West Africa and Europe. We don't have an issue with cocaine. We have an issue with fentanyl, which is being produced where? Mexico. Maduro ruined economy, bauxite, aluminum, resource man, not cocaine. We need stimulus check? Well, I don't know if that's coming anytime soon, unfortunately. Trump loves me? Yeah, he loves just you. Every time he is giving a speech, he specifically thinks about Brian Zimsky. That's who he thinks about.
We're going to cherish the country. We're going to take care, more importantly, of the people, including Venezuelans that are living in our country that were forced to leave their country. And they're going to be taken very good care of. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a recovered heroin addict. Oh, congratulations, by the way. I'm well aware where these drugs come from, and this deal will prop up Venezuela for decades. Well, we don't know. We don't know what the deal is right now, unfortunately. We need a little more information. Thank you. Great enunciation. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I know, I'm horrible at saying names. I used to have a really bad lisp, and unfortunately, I have such a big fat tongue that sometimes it gets caught up in my words. It's not drugs, it's immigration, resources in Venezuela, and of course, oil. Well, I think the oil, it's not something we should be setting as a precedent that you can just invade people because they're not giving you the oil. So American refinery, they're planning to use American refineries and professionals to go to Venezuela and increase oil output in a huge way. Yeah, I understand that. I get that. That's not what we need to be there for. We need to be there for the people, you know. We don't just, this isn't a transaction-based world we live in. Venezuela is more of a transit area for some drugs and not really fentanyl. If we're honest about Trump, though, organized crime is not the primary motivator. Well, they stole our stuff while we put our stuff in their country, so I think it's a much more nuanced conversation. People are oppressed by an illegal president. Yeah, I have no issue with Maduro being ousted. I just think we went out about it a completely wrong way. A way that, and it didn't involve Congress, a way that didn't involve the American people. I think that's important.
I have.
Which ones? Have you received any commitments?
All of them, basically.
Any commitments from the oil companies?
They want
Yeah, the people just exist to point to and say the Dems don't care about them. Amen.
to go in so badly.
We do live in a world where this money will change real lives in South America. Yeah, but who's to say all the that any of this money is going to the Venezuelan people? Who's to say? We haven't seen any projections, any plans, just all vibes.
Did you speak with them before?
No, we don't sneak into the country. We don't attack them. We have the people rise up and form a new government. We don't take it into our own hands. Sorry, bubs. We took their revolution away from them. That's what we did.
The operation took place.
Yes.
Did you maybe tick them off about what
Before and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well. But you know, the infrastructure is rusty, rotten, most of it unusable. It's old, it's broken. You see pipes laying all over the ground. Has it been nothing?
That would have taken decades? No, it was pretty. There were protests every day against the Maduro regime. It goes to show how much, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but, like, you guys didn't know about Venezuela until, like, Trump started bombing them. You know what I mean? Like, there have been protests against the Maduro regime daily. What we needed to do was collaborate with the people protesting so we can actually form a legitimate government.
For years Chevron's in, as you know, they've done a good job, but even they haven't been in a position to invest money because they.
Iran is begging for assistance to overthrow the repressive regime. Yeah, I've seen that. But Donald Trump, in his tweet, didn't really mention the peaceful protesters. He only cared about getting rid of Iran. I don't know. Okay, so you know how to do it best, I guess. You're damn right, I do. I'm a military general.
Month-to-month basis.
What happens to this?
They're only there because I wanted them to be there.
Yeah, are there any contingencies in case the military in Venezuela is unhappy with the U.S.?
Well, that's why we send them money and we support the protesters in rhetoric and other things like that. Well, which is it? Immigrants shouldn't come here for asylum, or they should fix their own country, or they need us to fix it. It's always one or the other, you know? But remember, this is the president who ran on no new wars. Dems love when we send money to places. Yeah, I was very proud of the USAID program. I was heartbreaking to me as an American to watch it get dismantled. That was one of the biggest programs I was proud of as an American. Every day in a debate, when I would if I would have, or not every day, but every time I would have a debate and people would be like, "Oh, America sucks," because I was fighting a bunch of lefties before I came on to YouTube. Every time I would mention USAID, and guess what fucking happened? They cut it. It was not a scam, ladies and gentlemen. If you ask any of these third world nations, they'll tell you all about USAID. Now they won't because they don't have it.
So Venezuela thus far has been very.
They'll tell you how it is a massive help, or it was. And have you guys forgotten about what soft power is? It seems like you guys don't get the concept of soft power.
It helps to have a force like we
We've
have.
completely gotten rid of our soft power apparatus. You realize that, right? Like, you guys are it's so crazy. It shows a sign of something that you think so small, that you think America is the only place in the world, and that these programs are just trying to waste our money. Hell no. Democrats demand the Somali fraudsters be released and given access to the U.S. Treasury immediately. Yep, you're right. It's crazy. Did Donald pay you, or is this just something you do in your free time, Johnny? Yeah, because it's scam like paying 10 million to Afghanistan about feminist painting. That's not a scam at all. The LGBT and women are completely repressed in Afghanistan. How is that a scam? Please tell me how it's a scam to increase the living standards of the Afghanistan people and increase their cultural awareness. Feminism is really, you guys forget we live in a first world country that has rights. Some places don't have rights, and some places need cultural exchanges like that so that they understand how to treat women. I know, hard to believe that not everybody got the education you did, but there are things that are different in the world. Actually, yes, they were. If you take a look at the 2024 election of Venezuela, Maduro lost by a huge margin, and the people were upset about it. That's what the most recent protests have been about. I would just stop personally, but with over 90 countries and efforts to manufacture goods to be sent around the world, I do much research about the world and the fact that Venezuelan, Paraguay, Brazil, and Guyana. Oh, congratulations. And they couldn't do anything about it. Well, you ask, that's where the giving them money comes in. You absolute silly goose. That's where supporting them with rhetoric comes in. I'm sorry that you like politics that are like bloody and disgusting and have a lot of people killed, but I don't like those types of politics. Isn't that what you guys say about like everything? What are you talking about?
You know, we were ready for a second wave. We were all set
You're
to
a
go.
doofus? Damn. Damn, that's how you know I'm winning. When somebody calls you a doofus. Who's you guys? Republicans. Republicans, typically.
But we don't think we're going to need it.
There's about 17 billion worth of oil reserves.
Lulz dropped straight into ad hominems. I know.
You mean trillion?
It's okay,
And is
though.
that going to be
Did you
something?
say billion or
I
trillion?
said billion.
You said 17 billion? It's much more than that.
Okay, so what is going to happen to those reserves?
Well, we're going to run everything. We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time.
Johnny, you realize you're just giving me engagement, right? Every time you hold down and press paste and then send a chat, that gives me engagement and opens me up to more people. I appreciate bots being in my chat.
Main thing you have to fix
Doofus, at least he didn't call me a loser. Oh, I know. You know, MAGA are such snowflakes. I called somebody a loser, or I said somebody had a loser opinion. And they kicked me out. I think most Dems would become conservative with exposure to wealth and prosperity. I totally disagree. Totally disagree.
We would have had, if I didn't win this election, we would have been Venezuela on steroids. Lindsay would know that. You might say something on that because we were talking before. We would have had a doubling up of very bad
how might they have played out such that you would fully support the removal of Maduro? I would have supported if the people rose up and decided to make their own government and decided that Maduro was illegitimate. They really melt down when you say, fun fact, MAGA is the name of the 5th and highest level priesthood in Anton LaVey's Church of Satan since 1960. Did you guys know that? That MAGA is the name of the 5th and highest level of priesthood in Anton LaVey's Church of Satanism. Honestly, could not be rich. There's too many people. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm cool with, like, you know, if I just had $1 million, I'd be fine. They can't, you idiot. They didn't rise up because they couldn't. Well, you don't know that. We took their revolution away from them, so we'll never know.
things that cost us a lot of money, like welfare, frankly. We wouldn't have had jobs. And instead of having $18 trillion in, we would have had at least $5 to $10 trillion leaving the country.
And that's when America sends in support, but not through military means.
So our costs would have gone up.
This isn't how you do politics.
And all of the money,
Sorry.
you know, we're setting a record. It's long broken.
You guys are never gonna okay, MAGA, you realize you're never gonna be able to square this away within your worldview, right? This is something that is going to haunt you forever. You guys talk all this isolationist attitude. You talk all of this big game about, oh, we're sending money abroad. But when it comes down to it, your very own guy is invading places, is sending our troops abroad, is putting our troops in harm's way. So you guys don't have a leg to stand on. I don't ever want to hear about fraud or anything like that from you guys. Being Republicans, by the way, in case you were vague.
And that's it. That's after 10 months.
This is America first. Don't you see? Us invading Venezuela, a foreign country, is America first.
Haven't included the 11th month yet. So we think we're going to hit over $20 trillion. The all-time record is 3 by another country known as China. About 10 years ago, they did 3. We're doing we're going to do close to 20 trillion. There's, by the way,
Beta
there
male has
never been-
TDS? Dude, stop projecting so hard, man. I have the confidence and I believe in myself enough to like show my face to where like someone like Johnny's ass, well, his name is very self-descriptive. You know, you'd think you're looking at his face or his ass, but it's actually his face. Believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe.
anything like this ever before. And it's all because of tariffs and the election. But it's because of tariffs.
There was a time.
Without tariffs,
Hey
we wouldn't have
MAGA,
10
and they worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast. They also worshipped the beast, chanting, "Who is like the beast and who can make war against him?" That's a very good, that's from Revelations, correct? I was a big fan of Revelations back when I was a follower of the Christianity. Gosh, it must be so... It's just such a sad state to live in where, like, you can't engage with an argument, so you just call someone, say they have TDS. It's like doublethink almost. Like, you're doing doublethink.
cents being invested.
There was a time back in 2016, I remember your RNC speech, and you were saying that regime change and nation building.
Where?
When you were speaking at the
Some
RNC.
reps are not very smart. I refer to them as traitor trash, but the party itself, it's more morals, and that's why I rest well on the right. Well, I hope to convince you otherwise, but I'm glad, you know, I do appreciate when people are cordial and kind in the chat, and, you know, I know it's a war zone in there, so, but, I appreciate you, Michael, you know what I mean? You seem to, actually just want to disagree, but not be like, I don't know, you seem to be a little bit more level-headed. When did I say they should stay and fix their own? I don't know what you're talking about. Maduro be returned to power. Well, that's the DSA. I'm not part of the DSA. Oh, or in part? No. I think most socialists are kind of cringe, to be honest. I'm not a tanky.
Back in 2016,
Go ahead, what it is.
you were criticizing regime change and nation building, the U.S. being
Hey, I'm a huge fan of discourse as well, you know?
and that it seems obviously that your stance
Oh
has
yeah,
changed.
rest in peace. You know, I think a lot of what Charlie said was bad and pretty blatantly, you know, not great. But what I will say, obviously he should have never, no one should ever commit political violence, because what it does is it chills our freedom of speech. It makes speakers on both sides afraid to use their voice, and I don't want to live in a world like that. I don't. I know you're not part of the DSA. I'm asking if you partly agree with them on something. Also, if Maduro is not released and returned to power, what should happen to him? That's interesting. I mean, I haven't really, I'll be honest, I haven't really thought too hard about what's going to happen with Maduro himself. I've been a lot more focused on, like, kind of the factions in Venezuela and stuff like that. But, I mean, Maduro was he was a criminal, and no, you know, and he was a dictator. If this was under another admin, of course I'd be totally okay with trying him, but it's just, I mean, obviously he should be arrested and put in prison, but beyond that, I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much. It's an interesting question, though. Thank you for asking that. Curious, what did Charlie specifically say that was bad? Just the stuff about race and women and stuff like that. I was not particularly a big fan of. But obviously, again, want to reiterate, that does not mean he deserves to be shot like Tyler Robinson did. Disgusting human. deserves to be thrown in jail and never let out. You know? No, that's what you have to do. If it's true they fled a dictatorial regime, then removing as a... Yeah, I'm not saying Maduro was good. So nothing specific, of course. Well, do you want me to bring up the exact quotes from fucking Charlie Kirk? Is that what you want me to do? I'm sorry I can't, like you, conjure up a quote from Charlie. That's not something I have on my repertoire, in my brain, unfortunately.
On that, what led to that? Being as the U.S. nation building now, is that...
This isn't a country that's on the other side of the world.
All I know is, if there was a black pilot flying that plane, Charlie would not be happy.
This isn't a country like we have to travel 24 hours in an airplane. This is Venezuela. It's in our area. The Don Road up.
Women are the same. I think while there are much nuance and ideas that good men should lead, good women is righteous, I think women can lead. I think women have a... Like, I'm not saying they're the exact same, of course not, but I believe under the law they should be treated the same, you know? Well, you know why that gets used, unhinged TDS, funny name. You know why that gets used a lot, right? It's because that's a racist thing to say.
So is that what you would say, that we're in the business of nation building now?
We're in the business of having countries around us that are viable and successful, and where the oil is allowed to freely come out because that's good.
Put it on the napkin and take it outside. I'm saying we shouldn't have even touched the spider because the spider wasn't going to bite us at all. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we should have kept the spider in the house until he has his children, and then the children eat the spider and create a much better society of spiders that catch flies for me.
Gets the prices down.
And the spider was in a different country, to be fair. Well, I don't oppose DEI. I think DEI, it's not a government decision. It's a decision made by corporations to widen their, to increase their diversity and increase their wealth of ideas. It was nothing, it wasn't a government mandate or anything like that. Not even in the same house? Yeah, I know. I tried to make the analogy work. I think I did a good thing with, like, the spider dies and then it has its children that eat it and become better spiders. I think that was okay.
We have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor. And that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too. Run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has...
Well, that's something that we want to get rid of, right? I don't like that the corporations are so close to the government. They need to have a little more separation, even within capitalism. You know, I'm a fan of capitalism, make no mistake. I love the idea of personal growth and the idea of ownership and that you can make it in this country. You know what I mean? Like, I love that idea, and I want as many people in America to benefit from that. Meritocracy. Well, DEI, believe it or, all it does is widen the pool of people that they can choose from. It doesn't set any, like, conditions on you have to hire this many black people. That would be like affirmative action. DEI is just increasing the pool. So it could, like, I make the example of, what if there's let's give an example of somebody who grew up from less wealthy background, and maybe they don't have as good of an education as the person next to, as the other person being considered, but they have a lot of life situations that would make them a better fit. I use that example as just kind of like a flat basis. Obviously, I could get more specific, but you know, that's how I see DEI. It's much less about the color of somebody and more about the background. Would you say DEI and affirmative action are unrelated? I see them as minimum second cousins. Well, affirmative action is an action made by the government to demand that you hire these many people, to where DEI is much more a suggestion to hire more diverse people from the I mean, I could see where you're coming from. It's a second cousin, but I think they are pretty different in how they're actually applied, you know, because if somebody is implementing DEI policy, that doesn't mean they have to choose the quote unquote DEI candidate. Although I think there's the idea of a DEI candidate is pretty gross in itself, you know what I mean? But like calling someone, oh, you're just a DEI candidate, but they can still choose that person, and there's not going to be any penalty. To where with affirmative action, if you didn't hire that person, you could be held liable. So I think there's a few differences there. And again, like DEI is in itself not a horrible idea by any stretch of the imagination.
Cocaine mills and cocaine factories.
And it doesn't stop people from getting hired. I think that's something else that a lot of people have in their head. Like, it is meritocracy in the truest sense that these people value certain aspects of somebody's life more than just a college degree.
Not going to be doing it very
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and
It sounds good to me.
Secretary Rubio mentioned.
You know why? Because they kill a lot of people. Yeah.
Secretary Rubio mentioned.
Damn, look at her face. Did you guys just hear that? He's thinking about doing it to Colombia.
Cuba yesterday in his remarks. Does the U.S.
Colombia was our ally for a really long time recently. I think DEI, like a lot of things, began one way and then became something else. Well, I think truly it's kind of become a boogeyman for the right, and I don't really know why. Like, it's complete, like, the idea of DEI is a meritocracy. It's just increasing the hiring pool. But I do agree that, you know, it has, like, there's some examples of DEI being more extreme, and then people will use those examples, and then it all gets conjured up into this big mess. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see its merits. Yeah, for sure. But I never think that the government should be forcing you to hire like a certain person. You know what I mean? Nothing is a monolith for you. Well, that's good. That's good. I think that's an important way to do politics.
Well, Cuba always survived because of Venezuela. Now they won't have that.
Yeah, I don't like talking points either, to be honest. I like kind of creating my own idea, or forming my own ideas and testing them.
You know, a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday. You know that. A lot of Cubans were killed.
Do you know how many?
The bodyguards. No, they're looking, but there was a lot of death on the other side. No death on our side.
Did he mean Venezuela here? He meant Venezuela, right? He meant Venezuela. Let's just.
But there was a lot of death on the other side, unfortunately. But a lot of Cubans were killed.
Oh, geez, here we go. Now, our worded Democrats are pro-fentanyl, like brainwashed. I am not pro-fentanyl, brother. I personally think the best way to deal with the drug problem is to address the problem that underlies almost all of our issues in America: mental health. We need help with our mental health. You know, it's hard to be in America right now. You know, not even just necessarily economically, it's just things are changing, and, you know, we need something to help us with that. I wish all Americans source their media from all sides, but unfortunately, they all can succumb to the algorithm. Yeah, well, speaking about algorithms, I think really what we need is to hold some of these social media companies accountable. Like, truly, they're allowed to shape public opinion for almost free, it feels like. Mental health, that is our greatest threat. I agree, man. Like, as somebody, you know, I have depression, anxiety, and ADHD, and those have been, you know, as a 20-year-old, when I was 20, I really struggled with that, dude. I really struggled with those types of thoughts, and I didn't even realize that this isn't what normal people thought. I thought everybody had these types of like worries and constantly stressing, but it wasn't until I sat down with a therapist and talked and then started my mental health recovery that I realized that I was stuck in these just horrible depression loops. The Venezuela people are happy about it. Leftoids. Well, actually, that's interesting, Anthony, because I've been seeing reports that many of them are staying inside of their houses because they don't know what's about to come next. So I'd love to see the videos there. Congress hasn't declared war since 1942, but Trump's Hitler or something. Yeah, that's probably because haven't declared war. Hold on, is that even true? Let me fact check that. Oh, yeah, 1942. Now, you realize in like a declaration of war, you don't have to just do like it doesn't just need to be a declaration of war. It can be something else. 13 years sober? Congratulations, man. Yeah, I think you oh yeah, you mentioned that. I'm proud of you, dude. Stay strong. It's a hard thing to do, so stay strong and take care of yourself. That is honestly a really hard thing to do, especially with the H drug. You're 25 years sober. Well, congratulations, Bill. About racist policies in Harvard graduate programs, check out James and his essay Why I Left Harvard. Yeah, I might look into that later.
Trying to protect him.
There's been protesters killed in Iran. You said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to
I'll
get
look
hit
it
very hard.
up after I'm done streaming.
Can I just add something? So when he first got elected in January, we met, you know, biggest comeback ever. We talked about
You think so, really? I didn't feel it was a comeback, actually.
So,
because the first one was
the bottom line.
Post-drug use, but I have a little to no regrets. I have a type of wisdom that money can't buy. Yeah, for real. I think people that have beaten a drug addiction have a lot of really valuable insights into just the human condition in general. Trying to help other afflicted these days using my business to employ people. Well, that is honestly amazing, dude. And I honestly really love to hear that. And you're helping your community out in so many ways that you may not even know, you know? You're a bunch of P words, all 5 of you on there. Well, it's 5 more than you.
Is, we talked about a drug caliphate in our backyard. You know, we had Venezuela, we have Cuba, we have Colombia in our backyard. And these 3 countries have been condemned ever since I've been in politics.
Now, isn't Lindsey Graham one of these Republicans that MAGA are like, we hate him? I could be wrong about that.
Joe Biden put a $25 billion bounty on Maduro's head. Chris Smith, today he got inaugurated, said, I hope Trump will hold Maduro's feet to the fire. You did. So what has he done? He's going to clear our backyard of a drug caliphate, countries run by narco-terrorist dictators who murder, rape, send drugs into our country to kill thousands of our citizens. To my Democratic friends,
It's weird that anti-merit administration policies in university are only an issue when it helps non-white people, like something like 50% of white students at Harvard at legacy admission, but no one cares. Yeah, school, like higher education in general, is something that I think we're gonna need to look at, because we are seeing like people make millions without even going to college now, and so it begs the question of like, should people be paying as much for this? I don't know. I think some people would love to have a higher education, but just aren't financially able to. There's something about when Trump says, "I'm not going to heaven," that just hits for a man who believes he can make the tough choices that are tough to live with in the name of America. Well, listen, I'll be honest, I don't think Trump really cares about his Christianity. I'll be honest, I don't think he does. I thought Biden cared more about his Christianity. He was going to Sunday services every week. And so when I hear that, it kind of shocks me, because it's like, what type of decisions are you making, Like, what are the tough choices we're making? I understand the job of the president. Obviously, an extremely hard and tough job. But I don't know. When he said that, I was like, it did take me aback. Like, whoa, what did you say? But it wasn't that. Like, I feel like Trump didn't care about Christianity, but does after Butler. Maybe.
should be celebrating this.
Honestly,
When
potentially.
bin Laden went down, I was the first to applaud President Obama. This was one of the most sophisticated military operations in the history of the country.
If you have the opportunity to outlaw both legacy admissions and DEI as a... Do you take that deal? So, like, if you're talking about just like the policy of gathering people from different backgrounds, is that what the DEI is in this case? Because I think you're missing out on a lot of valuable potential if it's DEI in the truest sense, like what it originally was for. I probably wouldn't take that deal, because I feel like you're missing out on a lot of valuable opportunity in companies that really require that new and intuitive ideas. However, if it's more like the more mainstream version that people kind of believe, I'd probably take that deal. Yeah. Of racial favoritism, I spelled it out and decided not to read that part. Well, I know. Well, in that case, yeah, I was just expanding on your question. My bad. I read that part. I apologize. Well, yeah, as a basis for racial favoritism, sure. But I'm afraid that if like a policy like that were to be implemented, it could have like unforeseen consequences. But at the highest levels, I mean, these parents basically built these campuses. Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to the education debate, I'm not too informed on the specifics, but I'd love to learn.
What they were able to do was amazing. They knew we were coming. We had a good part of the Navy, and they were able to capture this man alive. No military in the world could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship.
So I don't know if I'm okay with this. Yeah.
That's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people.
It's not Cuba though. It's Mexican cartels where a lot of these drugs are coming from. Like, I'm all for taking the cartels a little more seriously. I do think they need to be, like, pushed back a little bit. Looks like Lindsay got into some of Donnie's stash. I call this 24 karat.
Days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing them.
Hurt by the last 60 years of politicians and judges and mayors. You guys want to blame Trump for what's your politicians been doing since the 70s? What? What have they been doing since the 70s? I don't get it. In a lot of ways, the cartels only deal with logistics. Oh, yeah. Well, the logistics is like a very important thing. Like, the reason the U.S. Army and the U.S. military is so good is because we have a crazy logistic chain. We have amazing logistics. There's a story I heard where soldiers on a base in Egypt were getting like frozen chicken patties, and the barracks over where the Egyptians were staying, the Egyptian military was staying, they couldn't even get meat. It really is, like, logistics are huge. Kyle's slot of the drugs came from further south. Well, I do think that the cartels do hold a lot of political power in Mexico as well. And so, honestly, I'd be more of a fan of going after the cartels, you know? I think we have more of a casus belli there, too. We've had drug cartel make drug supply lines in every major city and minor city since I was born. Well, that's why we should be a little more angry towards them. And that way we're not trying to depose states, you know? They do make drugs too, though. Yeah, that's true. I think the biggest thing that like kills Americans from the cartels is fentanyl. And so if we can reduce the fentanyl flow, that would be just absolutely fantastic. But, you know, I'm in a world where I'm forced to choose between let's attack the cartels or let's attack Cuba, Venezuela, and Colombia, I'm going to go with the cartels, okay? I'm going to go with the cartels. The judge allowed them? Well, I don't think that's true. I think a lot of these, you know, cartels just became incredibly good at hiding from the U.S. government. I don't think it's it's this crazy idea. It's American exceptionalism at play right now, because like this implies that the judges and the mayors knew about it, and you'd have to have a lot of evidence to show me that the mayors knew about it. Hold on, we're getting a call. Spam call. Hello, you are live to 10 million people right now. Oh, thank God. Looks like I got some more money, guys. Don't know where that's going. Anyways.
Americans. This is a big frigging day.
Your politicians have turned kids into slaves. I don't think our are you talking about what's going on in, like, the Congo and stuff? When you think about the mass are importing goods, the obvious problem, there's no way to ever stop all the drugs. Yeah, I agree. I have a very, I think we just, it's so hard to deal with the issue because people are always going to get it, right? So I think we need to, like, look at how we treat drug use in general a little differently. you know, I'm for safe consumption sites if if there's qualified clinicians there that can administer the drug, and there's a room so you can enjoy your time and make sure you're not overdosing or anything. You know, so that way we can just completely get rid of all these powers that the drug agencies or that the drug cartels have. Did this in Europe. I know they did it in Switzerland, and they did see reduced rates of heroin use. Yeah, I don't see. I like the idea. I just would need to see how exactly the structure of like the incentives to like what the prices are kind of looking like, and also if like people want to, if there's an option for people who want to get clean but don't know how, that's always there. Like there are some prerequisites that I would want there, but it it kind of feels a little bit better than just constantly trying to fight wherever the drugs are coming from. We have methadone clinics in Suboxone. Yeah, and those do help people. Pharmaceutical can poison your children with vaccines and FDA-approved chemicals. Brother, the vaccine is one of the greatest inventions of all time. You know that, right? Before the vaccine, motherfuckers were dying of the measles. Do you want to die from the measles? I don't think you do. I don't think you want to catch some weird Victorian disease. Yes. The vaccine is vaccines are commonly attributed to a massive wave of decreased diseases and a better standard of life. If vaccines didn't exist, we could have gone extinct, like for real. I don't support the rep about the vaccine craziness. Although I didn't get the COVID vaccine. I know some people didn't get the COVID vaccine because they thought it was a little rushed, and I understand that. I understand that. Vaccine. They're useless. So you just don't understand biology. You could have just said that. You don't, you know, just because you don't understand biology doesn't mean the things that the scientists put out about biology are wrong. You know that, right? Like the way a vaccine works is actually relatively simple. They take a part of the dead disease, they take a part of the dead virus, put it in your system, and now your cells know how to fight that virus. You do not have a master's in biology. Stop lying. Yeah, it was rushed. That's what I mean. Some people left and right are just ill-informed. Yeah. Hello, you don't know shit. Well, you don't have a master's in biology, so who's winning now?
And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
My children are dying? No, children are being born just fine. You know? Where, you know, I do think it's funny. It's funny that all these, remember all the COVID like theorists saying that we would all be dead by now? Whatever happened to that? I know people that took my mom took the vaccine. She's doing just fine.
By the way, you know, you mentioned something that's interesting.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
Children are indeed dying of whooping cough after decades. Thanks to vaccines. Correlation does not mean causation. You realize that. You realize that that 30% rise in neurological diseases is due to us codifying different types of neurological diseases, right? And identifying new types of neurological diseases. You know that, right? Oh, no? Okay, well. Like ADHD when I was a kid was called ADD. And that's just one switch.
You mentioned Bin Laden. You know, I wrote about Bin Laden 1 year.
Do you have any evidence that the chemicals in vaccines are causing neurological, are blocking neurological development?
Year before the attack on the World Trade Center, and I said you got to go after Bin Laden. It was in my book.
See, look, you're just like, stay asleep. Like, you sound like a conspiracy theorist, bro. And maybe you are, but you have no evidence and you just say, oh yeah, you sheep. Like, that's embarrassing. Change your judges. When I charge your judges with treason, you're not going to do that. You're never going to have that much power. Randy, I can promise you this. You're never going to look me in the eyes. I'm going to tell you this, like, man to man. You are never going to have that much power. Okay? You're never going to. You're just some YouTube commenter. Yes, my headphone just fell out. Don't make fun of me!
Very few people want to say.
You sound like you don't research anything you talk about. You got me.
That, but it was in my book. You know that. I think you've actually talked
Hey,
about it.
what chemicals are you talking about, by the way, Randy and Paul? What chemicals are you talking about that are in the so-called vaccines that are, or so-called vaccines, that are in the vaccines that are causing these neurological, this blocking of neurological development?
But if they would have listened to me, they would have taken out Bin Laden, and you wouldn't have had the World Trade Center tragedy.
Yeah, this is certainly going.
Did you know that? I predicted Bin Laden.
I learn something every day.
No, but did you hear that?
Well, I did now. I just heard it right
no,
now.
I wrote a book. It was 1 year before the attack that the book came out, and it talked about, there's a whole page, a whole section dedicated to a guy named Bin Laden who's a bad guy who you have to take out.
Why
So,
did...
I'll get the book. But right after the election, he told me, I'm going to clean up our backyard.
You
Now,
know, there's
this was
canine
long
DNA and
ago.
flu vaccines. Where did you hear that? Could you please show me where you saw that? So what? Are they trying... Dude, you need to stop reading so much science. I mean, I like science fiction too, but at the end of the day, if you just combine dog DNA with human DNA, it's not going to do much. You know what's going to happen? Your bloodstream is going to immediately identify that as something it needs to destroy, and a bunch of white blood cells are going to hop onto it. And I just know basic biology. Look it up, research
before he
it.
took office.
Well,
This
no,
is
because
one-
I have a feeling it's just a bunch of lies.
The president's priorities is to make sure that people in our backyard, narco-terrorist states, will not continue to kill Americans.
Did you just see the lie Randy just did? The formaldehyde. Randy, you realize there's no formaldehyde in vaccines anymore, right? Well, why don't you do it for me? Why don't you send me a link to the article that that you found that on? I'm curious to see something from the vaccine interested person. Is your motivating interesting primary political or religious? Something else? How would you describe that? Oh, okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, is the basis for your beliefs about vaccine, is it more like religious? Is it political? Because I see them as an extremely valuable service that helps people. When did they get taken out? Here, I'll show it for you. Formaldehyde. See, this is why we don't like to type here, because it takes forever. Oh. 0.2 or 0.1 mg% lower. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been called out. I've been called out. It's over. They put formaldehyde in vaccines still. That's it. It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 0.02%. That seems to be not significant, but you're right. They do put formaldehyde in vaccines still. Okay, so it was preservatives like thimerosal that were phased out. That's what I was thinking about. Well, you're still going to need to convince me that the formaldehyde in there is doing damage, and that doctors are secretly letting their patients get harmed on purpose. But you got me there. They put formaldehyde in the vaccines. But they did remove things like thimerosal. Yeah, and kids don't get like 30 shots. They get like 12 max, like Bill said. But guys, I was wrong. They're putting formaldehyde in vaccines. That means the worst case scenario, ladies and gentlemen.
The number of people that will be alive today because Venezuela will be in different hands is going.
But now they don't know what to do. You notice, because they've never seen somebody actually able to admit when they're wrong. And so I'm admitting I was wrong about that, but it's still, my point still stands.
Going to be tens of thousands. This is something to be celebrated, whether you like him or not.
And then the AI overview disproved that. So essentially it's saying, yes, there is formaldehyde, but it's less than 0.02%. So, oh, wait, what? Wait, hold on. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read this for you. So it's typically less than 0.02 and is considered safe because it is significantly lower than the levels naturally present in the body. So that's interesting. So you're being very disingenuous with that, because you're implying that the formaldehyde is a level that isn't already present within the human body. When you say, oh, they put formaldehyde in it. Like, technically you're right, but you're wrong, you know? You're wrong in it being an issue.
Not just Venezuela. It's what's coming out of Venezuela.
15 shots. Hey, you know, I'm okay with... I trust doctors, ladies and gentlemen. I do. They went to medical school, and they, you know, I think we need more doctors, actually. If you look at how Medicaid works, there's a cap on residency programs. And so one of the things I talk about when lowering the age of, or not lowering the age of healthcare, what was it? Ugh. Lowering the healthcare costs. That's actually interesting for how they do the production process to destroy or inactivate things that they want to get rid of. Then it's purified, which eliminates nearly all of it, but genuinely trace amounts remain. That's actually really interesting. I didn't know about the process. Oh, so that's kind of, sorry, I like process stuff like that, so. dismiss it and pretend. I mean, Triple M Counts just provided actually really good explanation on why formaldehyde is in there. And I find that super interesting. Thanks for providing that, Triple M. Much appreciated.
Gulf going and sea going boats. Every time we knock out a boat.
Oh yeah, we're talking about boats. We went on this vaccine tangent, but we were originally talking about Venezuela and boats.
And we've done a lot of.
If I typed all the ingredients in a vaccine, you'd still ignore it? I'm not ignoring it. I engaged with what you were saying. You proved me wrong. I was wrong about formaldehyde not being in vaccines anymore. You know? You got the dub in that exchange. Now, I would still say my larger point remains, but no, you were right about that, dude.
We did 3 over the last few.
Oh, when did I? Yeah, I took off the MAGA hat. I didn't even realize. It's not really a MAGA hat. It's just a red hat, but I forgot that the hat is part of my iconic look.
They're very rare now. You don't see too many of them.
Hard to recruit.
But drugs by sea are down 97%. Think of that. And now we're going to stop them by land too. The land is easy. We had to do the sea before we did the land.
Well, the land seems to be the hard one, to be honest. Air seems to be the hardest
about the land, but it sounded like
and by the way, you have to.
I said magint, not MAGA. Very true. Very true.
Do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're poor.
All right, I'm gonna speed this press gaggle up a little bit. But I will say that I still think vaccines are incredibly important. They provide a valuable service. They're good for the community and yourself. And they especially protect immunocompromised people, which rarely get talked about anymore. But, you know, if they catch something like whooping cough, even at an older age, they could die. You know, I think about those people because I want them to live a fulfilling life too, you know?
Pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
I remember one time you actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about Flying Shine.
I live in an area ravaged by polio. Vaccines are great. Yeah, I also think it's a little privileged too. It is a very privileged take to be like, vaccines are evil, because we don't get to see the massive amounts of disease that this prevented. Because that's literally what it's designed for.
Sure, I did.
Drug trafficking there. Is that something you
I like Claudia. I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offer to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say. But the cartels are running Mexico.
And speaking of those U.S. troops, I mean, one thing that Americans and a lot of people are wondering, you just sound like you weighed out another land strike against Venezuela. You sound like you weighed that out. But
we didn't need it. We were prepared to do a second strike if we needed it. We're totally prepared.
But
we're still prepared.
That's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
The question is that the American troops, are they going to be on the ground or doing any kind of peacekeeping? I think Americans are
It depends on what happens. It depends a little bit on the...
It depends on what happens? Bro, these are Americans. You need to... Like, this could be your brother and sister being sent to Venezuela.
New administration, if you want to call it.
So if you see that pushback from Rodriguez and ultimately...
I don't think it was pushback. I think that...
She called it...
Well, you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken with her?
We talked to them.
Oh, you did speak.
They've been very good.
Did she call it kidnapping?
It's not a bad term. Go ahead. No, are you...
I know, right? I feel so bad for her. Did you see her reaction when he said something about Colombia? I didn't want to say anything because I kind of felt bad, but look at her. She's just like, oh, this is pointless.
You guys let opposition figures return or free any political prisoners?
We haven't gotten to that yet. Right now, what we want to do is fix up the oil, fix up the country, bring the country back, and then have elections. No, is it fair? We better bring the country...
Oh, did you guys hear that? Make sure the oil works before elections.
feedback. Otherwise, you're gonna have a mess that's so bad. It was really bad. It's gonna get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it.
Is the U.S. going to reopen its embassy in Caracas or get the
We're
TGDE?
thinking about it. We've been asked to do it.
We've
actually been asked to do it.
Do you think you're Putin and on the phone, of course, and Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah,
You told me that
numerous times.
You told me that your New Year's resolution was peace on earth. Do you think that 2026, if you could set a deadline when the Russia-Ukraine
I don't
war...
do deadlines, but I would say that, like as an example, Thailand and Cambodia.
Well,
I was very
where
proud
does
of
it
that.
actually
And they
stand?
started up again and they got it solved.
Where does
I give
it
myself 1/4 of a point for that. So now I'm 8
They're
and
still
1/4
killing
points.
each other in Thailand and Cambodia.
Because they started up Thailand and Cambodia, and now it's okay.
So where does it actually stand between Russia
I think we'll have
and
a deal at some point, hopefully in the not too distant. So I don't know if you saw the numbers just came out. 30,000 soldiers were killed this current month.
No, it's not
30,000. 27,000 the month before.
Have you and Senator Graham discussed official Russian sanctions?
We discuss it all the time. There's nothing else I talk to. I don't consider him very exciting to talk to, except when we're talking about legislation. And we talk about legislation all the time. You think that's an exciting relationship? It's not. But we talk a lot about legislation, and we have great legislation coming. You want to tell?
So the tariff bill. So here's what I believe. I don't think we could have secured the border without
Azerbaijan and Albania.
the threat of tariffs. I don't think we'd have a European trade deal without the threat of tariffs. So if you want to end this
What, bro?
conflict, then put pressure on Putin's customers. He sanctioned the 2 largest oil companies in Russia, which is the biggest pressure anybody's put on Putin since the war started. But we have 85 co-sponsors to give this president.
It's hurting Russia very bad.
Oh, yeah. So this bill would allow.
And India also is.
Yes, sir. So he put a 25% tariff on India for buying Russian oil. I was at the Indian ambassador's house about a month ago, and all he wanted to talk about is how they're buying less Russian oil. Would you tell the president to relieve the tariff? This stuff works. So I'm hoping we'll bring the bill up, and it's from 0 to 500. He picks the
What
numbers.
was that?
Nobody else does. But if you're buying cheap Russian oil, keeping Putin's war machine going, we're trying to give the president the ability to make that a hard choice.
Oh, sorry.
By tariffs. I really do believe that what he did with India is the chief reason India is now buying substantially less Russian oil. So I hope we pass this bill soon. And after
They
this,
wanted to make me happy, basically. Modi's a very good man.
Yes.
He's a good guy. He knew I was happy, and it was important to make me happy. They do trade. And we can raise tariffs on them very quickly, and they'd be
people are
very
afraid of
bad
that.
for
All I'm saying, you told me you were very thrilled.
And I'll tell you
Putin's
something,
war
the
machine.
economy is lousy. But what's really
Isn't
lousy
that
is
what Donald
Venezuela.
is called? That's what he's called in the late night. They call him Putin's war machine. Yeah, he'll go to Ukraine to never mind, I'm not gonna finish that joke.
The Venezuelan economy is, I think.
Oh yeah, Trump blames Ukraine too. That's why I really find this relationship between Trump and the conservatives so weird, dude. Because it's like Trump loves Russia, but conservatives don't. Some of them do, but most of them don't. Fine, I guess you are my little war machine, Donnie.
Worst economy I've ever seen. If you look at inflation, things are doubling every day.
I'll let you see the
Yes, it is. We gotta
P
fix the
tape
country
again.
fast. Many outside of the oil business. Well, the oil business, yes, but outside, yes. How
They have steel, you have minerals, right? All the critical minerals. They have a great mining history that's gone rusty.
How
So steel, aluminum,
long
but
stream
minerals,
running today? Well, I thought about doing an extra long stream today, and I'll probably come back later tonight, but I'll probably finish at my typical 3-hour mark today, and then have like a bit of a break, and then come back. And I might be going horizontal. I haven't decided yet. But, I had some things come up. I need to do some laundry and stuff like that, and then I'll be back. So, we'll probably be wrapping up here in about 20 minutes, and then taking like a 2-hour break, and then coming right back.
It's rich. It was once upon a time one of the great.
I also need to do some shorts, too, make sure the feeds are staying well fed.
But it's not easy. It's really gone bad. But it's got potential. What? They have rare earth, whatever.
Hope I managed to sleep by then. It's already 11:40. No, you need to go to bed, Bill. You know why? Because you are doing a great job on your tests, and I am super proud of you for kicking ass. I really am. You're a cool dude, Bill. Very intelligent as well. You should put that feather on your cap. You're very intelligent.
Everybody has rare earth. Rare earth is not rare. What's rare is the processing. We got doing processing. There's no such thing as rare earth. The rare earth is everywhere.
All shucks.
What isn't everywhere is the processing of rare earth. And we have a lot
I
of
like it. I hype up all my everybody. That's my homie. You know what I mean? People don't get enough compliments these days. I find it crazy. Like, people look at you and you're like, "Oh, I like your jewelry," and they're very I don't know. It's weird. But I'm all about like making people feel good and valued, because I feel like everybody's super valuable in their own way. Big believer in like different intelligence types too.
What's going on right now?
One thing I really specifically react to is the Minnesota fraud that we've seen play out.
Well, it just doesn't get worse. I've reacted. It's almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man because you know I had a campaign against him with JD, and he's a stupid man, and he's a corrupt politician, and the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So usually when you look at it,
Dude, this Somali hatred is so gross. And I see people on the... Like, I'm surprised. I'm seeing some moderate, like, just, like, what I would say are Republicans call this stuff out, too. Which I'm kind of surprised about. I've seen a lot of Republicans break ranks with the MAGA. I mean, they're in my chat sometimes, you know, and I really do appreciate the moderate voices that come into my chat and talk to me. And we disagree on things, but we're still able to have that civil discussion, because I think that's really important for politics right now. You have a lot of the left and libs feeling like, oh, this may be the end of democracy. And I don't think that. I think we're going to come back from this 10 times better. But it's good to see, like, it's good to have those voices that were in MAGA for so long, and then they come out and they realize, this isn't who I am. This isn't what America is. And it shows people on more on the lefty side, like, no, these aren't all corrupt robots. They are flesh and blood people that voted on something that they voted based on a set of lies. And what, am I going to be mad at somebody because they got lied to? Fuck no.
that would be, it could be 50.
I'm like
But
Spider. Oh, Spider. You know, it's actually funny. I gifted him. I was in Dylan Burns' chat. Yeah, I think it was 2 nights ago. And I gifted, you know how I gift subs and stuff whenever I'm, you know, whenever I watch a stream, and I just feel like it's a way to show appreciation to the creator. But anyways, I gifted Dylan like 5 gift subs, and Spider was one of the people that got it, dude. I had to ask him for a thank you. No, it was really funny though.
numbers are astronomical. Think of it. They have a dead country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships. You know.
Oh, I'm also just just some normal YouTube stuff. I'm noticing there's like a pretty, like there's a community of like people growing on YouTube. I guess that's the best way to say it. Like there's just a community now on YouTube that Twitch kind of had for a monopoly on, and I think YouTube's starting to bring it back, or starting to gain it, you know. YouTube does need to fix some features for their lives, like on mobile it's a little harder to at somebody that you're talking to in chat. And I feel raids could be maybe refined a little bit, but they are building this live streaming apparatus that I am very thankful for, because I don't really like Twitch. I'm starting to think Netanyahu recognized Somaliland to appease Trump because of the daycares? Maybe. Maybe. I need to look more into the Somaliland stuff, I'll be honest. I know Kalinda did a really good stream on it, so we might, or I might catch that later. But we need to finish this.
We don't let them take ships anymore. You know why? We use the same exact missile on them that we use on the drug carriers. And it's very effective. You notice there's nobody capturing ships anymore? Because as they head out to go capture the ship, and the ship doesn't want to fire back because it's very flammable stuff in many cases. And the insurance companies don't want to, because they build $1 billion ship, and they don't want anybody firing rockets into the ship. But
yeah, I think Loner covered it today. I might rewatch that later. Oh yeah, I was watching Loner earlier. Don't know if you guys saw me in the chat or not, but I was, the planets were aligning. I like to use the cosmic analogies with orbiters. It's
we're hitting them so hard, and it's very simple. Same missile system. It's called deadly accurate. And you notice that ships aren't being taken anymore. The pirates are.
But Something else I want to start having more is panels. Like, I want people to come in and debate. It's just, I know it's a little difficult for some people, but I would really, really like that.
That's right. I thought about
The pirates aren't
No Somali pirates.
It's actually very easy. They head out, we say, guess what? There's pirates. Bing, that's the end of the pirates. The shipping business is coming back. See, these are little things that we're doing. And I'm doing it not just for American ships, I'm doing it worldwide. Because we don't want ships taken by Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer. And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who's a total
What a disgusting thing to say about our American citizens. Fuck you, Trump.
And she's one of the leaders of it. Not the only because she's not that smart. But think of it. $19 billion at least they've stolen from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Waltz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have that doesn't.
Bro, you're about to fucking... He's trying to start a civil war if he's going to do that.
Well, you know, we brought down crime by 25%. He didn't do anything. He's not doing anything. But they want us to leave. He had a day where they had 17 murders, not too long ago. 17 murders and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, oh, we can't handle it. But we pull back, and we'll go in at the appropriate time. But we're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%. They didn't bring it down. Pritzker didn't bring it down. Same thing with Gavin Newsom. If we didn't go in to Los Angeles 7 months ago when they had the riots, even the police commissioner, the head of the police, said if we didn't have the federal government go in, we would have lost total control of the city of Los Angeles. And they would have
We would have lost Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen.
had to cancel the
What does
Olympics.
that mean? What does that mean, dude? What is lost Los Angeles? How would we have lost it? Would it have disappeared on the map? What does it mean?
We did. And you know what? You know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime. You know that? When we pulled it out, we had a Supreme Court decision. We can go back. We're allowed to go back in. But we'll go back in when the crime starts. Look, the crime will soon start because they now know that we're out. And at the appropriate time, we'll go back in. And we may, if we're allowed to. The most powerful thing we haven't used, the Insurrection Act.
You're considering using this?
I've always considered it, but we haven't needed it anywhere. 48% of the presidents of this country have used it. Bush used it, I think, 22 times or something. You know that, right? I mean, Bush the elder.
Now, what do you need for your short-term next 2 weeks? What do you need from Delta Rodriguez?
Just total access. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
What other things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down. Nobody can go anywhere.
And on Greenland,
On Greenland now?
Yeah, on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
So, do you expect to take action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine.
Damn, he should have said no. That's weird.
We'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days. By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that. No, I don't think so. I have a very
He said 2 months and 20 days instead of 2 weeks.
good relationship. We have the power of tariffs, and he has other powers on us.
Are you still planning to travel to see him in April?
Yeah, I'll be going in April.
I think there's some confusion from Americans, maybe the community in the world, when it comes to what you said about Rodriguez earlier today in the phone interview. You said that she would face the same fate, if not worse, than Durham. But it sounds like you're talking to her on the phone and wanting to work with her, and you are considering her in power. Can you just clarify where you stand on Delcy Rodriguez?
I don't have to tell you. I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Durham. Because you know.
No, you do. This is the free press, piece of shit. You do have to answer
Maduro
that.
gave up immediately. So he raised his hand, he gave up. And he did the right thing, but he gave up. So we were so effective, and it was so fast and violent. It was very violent, but we were so effective. He raised his hands, he gave up.
What was the most violent moment?
I don't want to tell you. There's some bad moments, but there was a very violent moment. I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing on all of the Duro's first night?
Yes. I have a total briefing on every aspect of it, but I don't think it's appropriate to talk
Yeah,
about
Greenland? What the fuck, bro? Yeah, why the fuck? Dude, he really is just like... He's unraveling, dude. I think that's the issue. I think we're seeing a man unravel before our very eyes. Yeah, I don't know. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and gets me boosted out there. You know, I'm a liberal content creator. I do a stream every day, typically from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so, yeah, I think so, dude. Yeah, he's just unraveling right now, in my opinion. He is just completely at the whims of of who is in his administration right now. For example, this Venezuela stuff, that's all the machinations of Marco Rubio. And so make no mistake that People wanted to say Joe Biden was a puppet president. No, this man is a puppet president.
When it comes to him in court tomorrow, I mean, what's the end game here with Maduro?
There is no, we're just going to go through a slog of a trial. The judge is very respected. Judge Hellerstein is a highly respected judge. We'll see how we do. The case is it's infallible. And people are so happy with what we've done.
Ask yourself, who's the real enemy? Guess he doesn't have enough on his plate. Yeah, I know, right? Operation Ocean Shield. Oh my god. This is gonna be unfair. We've got... I'd say this is probably good. This is probably a good amount of, yeah, I'd say we're good, man. Somali pirates versus Denmark, United Kingdom, United States, France, Netherlands, Spain, Greece, Romania, Germany, Belgium, Canada, Italy, Portugal, Turkey, Norway, Australia, China. So it was Rubio who influenced him? That's what I think. I think if you listen to Rubio's like speeches about and talk about Venezuela, this has been something that Rubio has had his eye on for years, for maybe even a decade. So, oh yeah, this is definitely the machinations of Rubio and whoever signed on to the Monroe Doctrine shit.
You know, you go down to Miami, you go down to a lot of places, and they're all dancing in the streets of this country. Now, he was a rough man. He killed millions of people. He killed millions and millions of people.
Can I just say something? This is a good thing, not a bad thing. President Biden put a $25 billion bounty on the guy's head.
Yeah, he's
Why?
grabbing
Because he
land
was a
more so
horrible
than Hitler.
criminal,
I agree, man.
murderer,
It's pretty
poisoning our
gross.
people. Every administration has been saying he's a threat to our country. He's a bad guy.
But don't lose hope. That's our number one thing that we have against these people. They live on an ideology of fear, of hate, and of truly just hopelessness. We have an ideology of hope, of freedom, and liberty. That's the biggest difference. And that's something we will always have over them. And the reason we will win. Didn't Trump say this was Marco's idea? I think I did hear
First
something
guy that's
like
actually
that.
done something about it. Here's the story for me. He could be in Turkey today, but he's in New York. So if you tell people in Cuba, you need to stop being a communist dictatorship threatening America, you should go somewhere else. You better take the offer. Maduro has nobody to blame but himself. He gave him a way out. He chose to defy Trump and the U.S. military, and his ass is in jail where he deserves to be, and every president has said the same thing, but he did it.
You know, one of the things that is happening, I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall.
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know how they can all that. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Marco Rubio has really had your ear, it seems, throughout this entire process. I know that the Vice President Vance was just down the
Eventually
street.
he's going to get checked. It's only a matter of time. I think this Venezuela thing is going to check him. I do. Look at all the political look at all the factions inside of America, Venezuela. There are a lot of pressure points that need to be pressed at the same time, or else there's gonna be a splintering of factions. There's gonna be a consolidation of, like, we're just seeing the beginnings of what's happening in Venezuela. I have a very good feeling, and not a good feeling, but a bad feeling, I guess, that once these private contractors and private companies start going out to try to fix these oil rigs, the people of Venezuela, and they do have guerrilla groups in Venezuela, I think that's important to mention, are going to attack these oil rigs and this infrastructure. So I have a feeling it's not over yet. You're pro-Trump, G-Man? Well, I hope to hopefully convince you otherwise. And I have no issue with, if you're just like a traditional conservative, well, I don't even have an issue with Trump supporters. I just want to make that clear. I have an issue with the leadership, but I have no issue with the people that voted for Donald Trump. In my opinion, you guys got sold a lie, and I have no issue with my fellow American, you know, they made a mistake. Doesn't mean doesn't mean I judge them for the rest of their life on that one mistake, you know? A lot of people were hurting when Trump got elected, and unfortunately, you know, the messaging apparatus of the Democratic Party just wasn't as good as it is now. So, I understand. Because he had the most influence on foreign policy in like 200 years because he's the Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. That is unprecedented.
Playing out. Would you say that Marco Rubio has your ear more than the vice president?
No, they both do. No, and JD's very smart, doing a great job, and so is Mark. No, both.
It sounds
I
like
would say
he's
equal.
the go-to, and you were just talking about Cuba and what could come next there. Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need it.
Yeah,
It's
I
going
saw
down.
what you meant, Mark.
It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
Yeah.
They go down for the count. And Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think, Howard?
It's going down. They've lived off of Venezuela, right? The economics were all Venezuelan, right? That's why you said the protective force of Maduro was Cuban, right? They were Cuban guards, so they were just paying Cuba when that money stopped.
Don't hire him in the future.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
People from our country who were forced to come over, really didn't want, you know, they were from Cuba. People from different countries like to stay in those countries, whatever, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And people want to go back to Cuba, and they want to work in Cuba, but Cuba's going down for the count. Thank you very much, everybody.
Is Elon Musk back in the fold? You had dinner with him last night.
Elon's great. I say about Elon, he's 80% super genius and 20% he makes mistakes. But he's a good guy. He's a well-meaning person.
Elon, I love the guy that called me a PDF file. Yeah, dude, this really does Epstein friend Lutnick. Oh yeah, Howard Lutnick there. But I think we need to really start focusing on the Epstein files right now, guys, because the DOJ has not followed the word of law, and they are blatantly disregarding the law the people have put forward. So my camera's about to die. My phone's at 1%. Hopefully it survives until the end.
So you said that you were really very angry with the Ukrainian president.
Michael Jackson is also Epstein's friend? Well, I was never a fan of Michael Jackson.
That strike on Putin's presidency.
I don't believe that strike happened.
Right. So Putin had said in that phone call to you that strike happened. There wasn't criticism.
There is something that happened fairly nearby, but had nothing to do with this.
Why did you leave Putin in that moment and then go say that about Ukraine?
Because nobody knew at that moment. I mean, that was the first I heard about it.
So why
He
not?
said that his house was attacked. We don't believe that happened. You know, now that we've been able to check. But that was the first we ever heard about it. We just hope that Russia and Ukraine get it settled. You know, it's costing us nothing. In fact, we make money because unlike Biden gave $350 billion, gave away. Now, I got a lot of it back because we did a rare earth deal going into rare earth. And we're going to get a lot of the money back, maybe all of the money, maybe more than all of the money. But we get paid now whenever we send anything, they pay. So this isn't an economic thing for us. This is a soul. This is a situation where on average 25,000 souls.
I know, Michael Jackson associated with being a PDF file? Say it ain't so.
25,000 soldiers mostly, and some people from Kiev and different cities, but a very small number by comparison. But 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers are being killed every single month. And they're not from America, they're from Russia, and they're from Ukraine. And if I can get it stopped, I'd like to get it stopped. And I think we will. Thank you very much, everybody.
You've talked about attorney.
Dude, poor Look at Lindsay here. He looks so
Did that play at all into
angry.
your decision to capture Maduro?
No. What really played is the fact that he sent millions of people into our country from prisons and from mental institutions and drug dealers.
Is Guerrilla the same group that is Colombia? I heard Trump make reference to Colombia being next or something to that effect. The Nationals fight this will become another Vietnam for US. Yeah, that's my biggest fear, is that this will become a continual just fight. And yeah, the guerrilla groups, well, there are some from Colombia and Venezuela. A lot of them are just like were formed as like originally civil protected groups, and this have kind of become something into themselves. Don't forget about the Epstein files now. Well, I mean, it is kind of ridiculous that Trump is giving Americans a $2,000 stimulus check this month. It's good to know you live in an alternate universe. I did not realize that YouTube had cross-dimensional chats, but I guess they do. That's kind of cool. I know Colombia is happening. Colombia is a major non-NATO ally. It's just Trump being pissy at the leader being mean to him on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because it would fit in line with his Monroe Doctrine stuff, so I don't know. I hope the people of Colombia and are not involved in this disgusting land grab. How is he hurting American citizens? Well, I mean, I'd start by he's not releasing the Epstein files, a which by law, signed by the American people, he has to. But furthermore, he's not addressing the affordability issue. He's not addressing our medical concerns. Instead, he is shooting boats in Venezuela and not focusing on the American people. And I think when you're not focusing on the American people, you're not doing a good job as president, and you are hurting the American people. So, that would be why. But I'm actually about to get out of here. Partnership with the U.S., that's how the Monroe Doctrine works? Oh. Well, I don't know then. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know then. It's an interesting time to be in American politics, let me tell you. There's just so much happening. There's just so much happening. Red Eyes Black Dragon, go! I like the Red Eyes. Red Eyes is my favorite. No, I'm kidding. It's Dark Magician. I have got a lot of favorites, okay? Can't I like a dragon and like a magician at the same time? Is that allowed? Is that allowed, people? I hope it is. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here for a little bit, and then I'll be coming back later to cover the rest of the news today. Just a little tired. Let me see. Who is currently streaming? It looks like Loner is streaming, so we're going to send you all to Loner's stream. Guys, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do a stream every day from, what about Odd Eyes Dragon? Okay, hold on. I gotta answer some of this. Why didn't Obama or Bill release the files? Because during Biden's administration, there was an active investigation, and the idea of the Epstein files wasn't even invented by the time Obama and Bill was in office. Why do we care about the files all of a sudden so much? Well, I wouldn't say it's all of a sudden, but I'd say it's Donald Trump's behavior. The way he acts around the files is what emboldens me to talk about it. Okay, and then John, drug boats keeping horrible chemicals off of our soil. Who really cares? See, that's a lie, actually, because the drugs coming from Venezuela are not going to America. They're going to West Africa and Europe. So, I hope that answers all your questions, rather than living off taxpayer money. Don't know what that's about, but all I know is that SNAP, Medicaid, and all these programs are extremely beneficial and help our populations in so many ways. So, I think I answered all your questions. Damn, I kind of fucking destroyed MAGA just now. That was an absolute destruction, if you ask me. Anyways, guys, remember to like and subscribe. I do a show every day, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., where I talk about the news, politics, and more. I'll be back later tonight. I'm not sure what time, probably around 3 p.m. or something around there, where I will be talking about more news. So, with that being said, go check out Loner. He's a cool guy. Make sure to like and subscribe. I totally agree with you, Calvin and Hobbes. Trump oil grab, steal of Venezuela. Totally true. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Let me get the music playing and turn my camera off. Hold on, I gotta find my camera first. Ah, there it is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Our humble planet Loner. Yes. Yes, our humble planet. He's a good guy. I like Loner a lot. Alright. Hold on. I looked up FM4. Apparently I have to type in Front Mission 4 soundtrack. You guys are seeing behind the scenes. Whoa. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you in a couple hours. Stay safe out there. Go watch Loner and tell him that guy doesn't exist, rated you, and thinks you're super cool.